The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Speaking podcast coming to you Wednesday night, February 19th, 2025. Another special episode tonight as we continue our. It's been a couple months we've done this. Actually, it's been about 6 months actually since the last draft we did. We are now doing the 2000's album draft, and join here, of course, is I'm here with fellow friends. And hold on one second, I just screwed that up real quick. The overlay is still up. I don't know why it's doing that. 1 second. Oh, there you go. There you go. Of course, joined here by good friends, music journalists, content creators, you name it. You got Chris Lacy to the right of me. You got Matthew Allen to the bottom, hanging out with Rihanna and Pink on the background. You lucky bastard. How you doing, brother? Brothers?
Doing good, EJ. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, man. Good to be back in the virtual roundtable. Like you said, it's been a minute.
Yes, it has been. Last indeed. One we did, I think it was in August. So obviously football around and took into my schedule, but now things are kind of calm again now as football's done. So I have a little more breathing room to do other shows. So before we start, as you do every time, this is a draft. We're going to go 10 rounds on this one of albums released in the 2000s to 2009. We always do the draft order. We always do it live. And now I have had so far in the first two episodes of this, the 80s and 90s draft, I have always picked third. Okay. So my hope today is that I at least get the first pick or the second pick at least. So before we find out the order, let's find out who's picking third first. The third pick in the Earnestly Speaking podcast 2000's draft is not again. Oh, stop! No! It's still me. You bastard.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness.
That is dirty. That is dirty. That is the worst of the three.
Oh my gosh, bro. Yo,
right,
Willa Names is selling you.
I am hating life right now. Oh my god. All right. The second pick in the Earnestly Speaking 2000 album draft goes to
Big Bucks.
So that means Matt's gonna get number one.
No mammies. Wait.
No. You know what sucks too also? It's the same order for the first two episodes.
Same order.
Matt, the first episode in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yep. Life is not fair, but we press on, obviously. All right. So you guys know the rules. We're going to go 10 rounds. We pick an album, any genre, it doesn't matter. Released in the 2000s, from 2000 to 2009. The theme has been the same for the first picks in the 80s and 90s draft. I don't see it changing much. We'll see. 2000 is a little bit weird decade, so we'll see. Yeah. Matt, who's your first pick in the Earnestly Speaking 2000 album draft?
Okay, so for the 80s and 90s draft, I picked first, Chris picked second, you picked third. For the 80s and 90s draft, I've always picked a Michael Jackson record. Seems no need to change the outcome, so
I hate you.
My first pick, I'm picking 2001 Invincible by Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So Michael with a hat trick here on the 80s, 90s, and 2000s draft.
With the hat trick, yes.
You want to sell why Invincible first for the listeners here? Because it isn't his biggest, obviously not one of probably his of the solo post Motown records, obviously the most heralded because it's the last album he did his career, but why Invincible still, in spite of that?
Okay, so why Invincible? Because number one, I'm a creature of habit. Number two, because it's MJ. And number three, this album has gotten a lot more praise after the fact.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
In the moment, it was like saying like, "Oh, this album is not that great." You know, it didn't live up to the expectations of what everybody said it was going to be. But what I will say is, yes, this album it's got a little bit of filler on it. It's a little bit bloated. 16 tracks. You probably could have cut it down to like 11 or 10. But there's some really great classic MJ material on this album. I mean, you have Unbreakable, which you are on record saying is your favorite Michael Jackson song.
No. It's not. It's not.
EJ.
It's my favorite song of all. No, wait, Matt. My favorite song of all time. Period. Any artist
right,
doesn't matter. Period. Just continue.
Yes. So, okay. So then you have songs like Butterflies. I remember exactly where I was the first time I heard Butterflies. It was August 29th, 2001, a day before Invincible actually was released. You Rock My World was already a single, a poor choice for a single. We'll get to that later. But Butterflies came on WBLS, and I'm like, is that Mike? And it sure enough was Mike. And the next day I went and bought Invincible, came back to my dorm room where my dorm mate was sitting as an essay at the dorm, and he pulled his out, and then I pulled my CD out, and we high-fived each other. He had the red one, I had the white one. It was awesome. But I mean, the best songs on here, Heaven Can Wait and Whatever Happens. Just absolute classic, amazing Michael Jackson material. Some of his best singing, some of just great, awesome melodies, particularly on Heaven Can Wait. I wish both of those would have been singles. You Rock My World is fine. It was his last top 10 single on the Billboard Hot 100 before his death, but I don't even think it was single worthy, for being perfectly honest. It's a fine song, but he should have did Unbreakable first, then whatever happens, then Heaven Can Wait, then Butterflies, and then boom, that's it. There should have been a video for Unbreakable.
Can I argue that Your Rock My World is probably one of the most overrated songs from his entire catalog? Because I think it is.
Oh,
and I am a massive Michael fan, for the record.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
but it's still a good song. It's just yeah, it's just a little overrated.
The album has definitely aged well. I will say that the album has definitely aged very well as time has gone on. I will say that. And yeah, it's definitely a the more you play it now, especially in hindsight, it's like, yeah, a lot of reasons why the album is not as heralded is more so of the outer stuff, the lack of promotion, and all that stuff. But
yeah,
but again, I'm also, I'm picky because of Michael stuff. Because if you look at my top 10 Michael Jackson songs, maybe 2 or 3 of them are like hits. Most of my favorite songs are actually like deep cuts. So there you go. So
yeah.
All right. So Invincible number 1. Again, go ahead.
I want to make a quick comment. Because this song didn't get mentioned. I know it was recorded during the Invincible sessions, and it's a tragedy it never made it. We've Had Enough could have been the Earth song of that album.
Correct. I love that album.
You know what I'm saying? So I wish I could have been a fly on the wall and been in the studio with him and Rodney Jerkins and the powers that be like, guys, you cannot release this album without We've Had Enough on it. That's all I'm saying.
They could have took out the Lost Children or
Cry.
I actually love that. Cry can go. You're on my
Privacy can go. 2000 Watts can get up out of here.
Yeah,
like,
there's some songs that can go. 2000 Watts can go.
Hold on. Am I the only MJ fan that actually thinks 2000 Watts is a good song? Probably.
Yes.
You might be.
I am the minority. Every fan I talk to you, like, that's not that song at all. Every single one.
No. He's singing it is really. First of all, he's singing super low, and
that beat slaps.
And you sing it just. The beat is cool, but the lyrics are patooey. Just the lyrics of that song is
crazy. I'll do respect to Tyrese. Like I'm happy he got a chance to work with Mike, but they should have left that for Tyrese to work on.
Yeah, I will say real quick. My only issue with Invincible is that it's an unbalanced record. The first 8 songs on the album is actually the strongest part of the album.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And then it tails off a little bit now to the quality.
Yeah, from 2000 Watts to the Lost Children, you can get those songs out of here, but you got to leave Whatever Happens and Threaten. Those 10 songs, crazy.
Oh, absolutely. It ends great. There is a lull toward the end. Once you get to Speechless and get to those songs like You Are My Life, like Cry, like Privacy. Then it sort of gets into a low part. But actually, yes. It reminds me of Dangerous in that way, where Dangerous's first 6 songs are just dope. Even like the first 9 songs are dope. Well, I mean, all of Dangerous is dope, but just from a sonic standpoint, it's a little uneven. But but it reminds me of that a lot. But speaking of which, this is some of Teddy Riley's best producing. Even though Rodney Jerkins had the majority of the songs on this album, Teddy Riley had 4 placements on this album, and 3 of them are the best songs on the record. 2000 Watts notwithstanding, you have Heaven Can Wait, which was supposed to be a Blackstreet record. You have Whatever Happens, which is amazing. Shout out to Carlos Santana for lending his guitar on that one. And a very dark horse, which is Don't Walk Away. Just sort of restrained, deep cut, very minimal for a Teddy Riley production, but love it. Absolutely love it. So
by the way, we are streaming live here on YouTube, on Twitch, also on Facebook. My mom there says, "Hi, Grace, all time." She's actually the reason I became a fan in the first place, because she was me. She was the hardcore one before me. So we have 3 generations of MJ fans in the family. So hi, Mom, love you. All right,
shout out to
number
Mom.
2 pick.
Yep.
Chris,
all right. So no shock here. I'm gonna go with Confessions by Usher.
Not a shock at all. This is actually one of the biggest albums of the decade.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would argue the biggest album. It's definitely up there. Why Confessions, Chris?
Yeah, so it was just interesting to see where he was during this time in his career. Like when you look at My Way and 8701, like they impressed the critics and they definitely had some R&B hits on there, but you could tell that Usher was trying to get up to that upper echelon of superstardom. So it took a high profile breakup with Chili from TLC. Like that's all it took for Usher to shatter that teen heartthrob image. And it opened up the door for the controversial yet celebrated Confessions album. So you have the mega hits like Confessions Part 2, Burn, My Boo, all of those shared the number 1 spot on the pop chart in 2004. But the success of the album isn't strictly on the hit singles. I mean, you have Caught Up and Bad Girl. Like to me, those 2 songs fight for MVP status on the album. But the crown jewel for me is Superstar, which I love how it samples Max Stroll by Willie Hutch. So call me crazy if you want to, because I was born in 1990, and anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. But Confessions was the thriller of my generation. Like it's hard to overstate how big that record was. Like if you're outside, you know how big of a record that was.
Mid 2000, that thing was all over radio. I mean, that thing sold what 20 million plus worldwide.
Yeah,
worldwide, it's about 11 million in the US.
Which is crazy, because like in the era where record sales at that point were starting to tail off now, and no one was selling that kind of records, that much records at that point in 2000s, because streaming was starting to become a thing. And so Usher do that. This is why it's always bothered me that Justin Timberlake always got more props than Usher. Like first off, Usher's outsold that guy 2-1 in record sales alone. Okay, and in my opinion, more talented than Justin Timberlake. I'm not making a race thing here. I'm just going what it is. But Usher, like between that album and his other first couple albums, I may be honest, before Confessions, honestly, massive hits. So I agree. Confessions is one of the best, I will say, top 5 albums of that decade. So I'm with you on that one.
And as a dancer, I still have the DVD box set of the Truth Tour. I still got that junk. Still got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, gosh,
I still have it too.
Yeah, man, I studied it like crazy, and I was like, man, like whatever he does, I need to master that. Because of course, I mean, studied Michael, James Brown, Marvin Gaye, you name it. I mean, he studied the greats and went on to do his own thing. So salute to Usher.
Right. All right, my go. I'm gonna go in a complete different direction here. I'm gonna pick a band that I am going to see for the first time this summer. That they're not even together anymore, but they do shows here and there. But my wife and I are going to fly to New York to see them in August, and that is System of a Down, Toxicity.
Dang it, you took my next pick.
Oh my God, that was
my next pick, bro.
That was right in there. Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you right now,
I am surprise everybody with that.
I am not necessarily the biggest System of a Down fan in the world. I remember when I first heard them back in 1999 with the self-titled album. Was not a fan whatsoever. I thought this is garbage. Whatever. Then 2 years later, I hear Toxicity. And that album blew me away. That is a unskippable album. If we ever did an unskippable albums draft, that might be a top 3 pick for me.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, it's such a I wasn't really like the biggest heavy metal fan or hard rock fan, and I mean, I just liked music. But that album is pretty undeniable. That was like my first or second year in college. And like when I heard Chop Suey for the first time, I was just like, what the hell is this? But then when the title track came out, I was like, yo, these guys are serious. And then songs like Aerials, it was just like, on the surface, it sounds like it's like just typical heavy metal, but there's so much more to it. There's a lot of Armenian folk influence on it, a lot of like opera influence on it. It's a dope record.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give a shout out to my favorite song on the record. Deer Dance is crazy. Like, it's less than 3 minutes long, but like you were hooked. It wastes no time getting its point across and getting its hooks into you. So no, I agree with everything y'all said. And man, I thought I was gonna shock everybody. Like, I was like, man, this is gonna be my number 2 pick, and ain't nobody gonna expect it. But of course, EJ takes
that was on my list.
Yeah, but favorite song on the album is actually Needles, the second song on the album. Oh my god, but as a bass player too, also. Oh my god, love it. I love it. So all right, round 2. Yeah, me too. All right, round 2, Matt.
Okay, round 2. All right, Confessions would have been up there for me, but my number 2 pick is 2000's Voodoo by D'Angelo.
Nice, good pick.
God, on my list too, man. On my list, I overplayed that record by Night in 2000.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, overplayed the record. Yeah, that's a phenomenal record.
So there's so many great so-called neo soul albums that dropped in the year 2000. D'Angelo is actually the first record of those to drop in January of 2000. It was actually supposed to come out in like November, October of 1999. But D'Angelo's never on time all the time. So, but it's okay because I just love it. It's basically he basically took the Detroit Midwestern hip hop aesthetic of Jay Dilla and basically transposed it through live instrumentation. Just the whole idea of like just playing behind the beat in this drunken like style, and as well as just this amazing multi-tracking of background vocals. It's in just influences of like just Southern gospel. It's an undeniable record. I mean, it just flat out. I mean, it really, really is. I mean, Untitled, of course, is going to be the song everyone remembers largely because of the music video. But man, I mean, from Player to Left and Right to The Root, which is an amazing, amazing song with some amazing lyrics. Africa, one of the only songs that can make me cry tears.
Really?
Especially the demo version. If you ever listen to the demo of Africa, it's just him and a piano. I become a blubbering idiot every time. Wow. And a lot of great influences and uses of like interpolation on it. So like Send It On as an interpolation of Sea of Tranquility from Kool and the Gang. The drum beat of Africa is I Wonder You by Prince from the Parade album. It's just so much great stuff. And of course, there's Chicken Grease on there. Great Day in the Morning. Amazing cover of Roberta Flack's Feel Like Making Love, which is a last-minute replacement because there was supposed to be a duet with Lauryn Hill that was supposed to be the favor from him being on Miseducation. She didn't end up doing it, so they put Feel Like Making Love on as a quick replacement, but it turned out great at the end. Amazing horn work by the late great Roy Hargrove all over this record. Of course, Questlove's drumming, the late Pino Palladino's bass, Charlie Hunter's bass. It's just a great record, absolutely essential.
If you're a musician, especially too, this is a album that you have to listen to always. It's a phenomenal musical record too, especially. So I'm with you. All right, round 2, second pick for you, Chris.
All right, I'm gonna call an audible at the line because this album was not on my list, but I feel like I have to mention it.
Oh, this was the one you're picking now?
The one I'm about to pick right now. I feel like I got to pick it since Michael got claimed. I got to claim Prince somewhere. So I'm gonna go with my favorite album from the 2000s. I'm gonna go with Lotus Flower.
Lotus Flower.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, that's
the one. That's the one that was packaged with MLPS and all that.
Yep. MPL Sound and Elixir. It was all packaged in there. But this may surprise a lot of people. Like they probably would have thought, like, oh, Chris is gonna pick like Musicology or 3121 or Rainbow Children. But to me, like Lotus Flower is like it's a return. It's a homecoming back to like guitar god Prince for me. So like even when I break down like the classic Prince sound, like what I expect from a classic Prince record, you have the cinematic storytelling, you have the mixing of genres, you have the limitless vocal range. Like you hear like the Camille kind of stuff on Money, but then you can hear him kind of get in this deeper register as well. And then the guitar god moments. I mean, you have that on Dreamer. To me, Colonized Mind is like the sign of the times of the 2000s for me. Like that's my favorite song on the record. And then it has that touch of the bizarre. Like there's always, a unique twist to what Prince does. So, that album to me doesn't get enough credit. It tends to get overlooked, especially with 2000s Prince. But I would say that that's his best album from the 2000s.
All right, second pick for me here. This is gonna be a challenge here because like Michael's gone and Prince is gone. Well, anyway, for me anyway. I'll go Homer in this one because I know you guys won't pick this one, but I'm gonna go Homer to my favorite band in the world. I'm gonna pick Metallica, but I'm gonna pick Metallica's Death Magnetic, not Saint Anger. This was a response to
Why would you pick Saint Anger? Like no one would ever pick that.
True, but Saint Anger also gets a bad rap because the songs are actually good. It's just the production is shit. You know what I'm saying? But Death Magnetic was the I guess response, although it was like freaking 5 years after the fact, though. But when you look at the entire catalog, especially too, like that album becomes very underrated. Actually, like it wasn't the greatest quality of in terms of like production either. But some of my favorite songs of the entire catalog are on that album. You know what I mean? This Is Just Your Life. You have like Cyanide, and have like The Day Never Comes. There's a lot of really good songs on there, and to me, they were a band that was healthy again too. Also, after James going to rehab and Saint Anger, that whole period, they were healthy again, and I thought that was a really solid record. It was actually one of the more heavy records too. Also, going back to a bit of the roots too. Also, some of the thrash roots in the album too. Also, so very impressive record, I thought, in my opinion. So that's why I went with Death Magnetic actually. So all right, round.
I think that's Death Magnetic was definitely, it needed to happen. And what did you think of like Rick Rubin in terms of having him come on after years of working with Bob Rock? Hearing
everything I've heard in hindsight from the band, like James has said that he was not very involved. Like they didn't really like how he was. Like he wasn't like involved he was very sloppy. He would have like his shirt would be like all undone and have food over his shirt and all this crap, and he wasn't as involved. That's why it was only one album thing, honestly, because James and Lars are pretty involved, and they like to have the producer be involved. And Rick Rubin's style is a little bit different from other producers they worked in the past. This is why that was a one album thing, honestly. I know they went away from Bob Rock after the Black Album, Load, Reload, Saint Anger. I wouldn't minus Bob Rock on this album one more time, but Rick Rubin, from what I'm hearing in hindsight, what he this is style and in the studio, it was not a really good match in the end. So I'll say that. All right, round 3, Matt, go.
Okay. All right. So for my third pick, okay, what am I gonna do? All right, let's take it to the ladies real quick. I'm gonna pick 2005's The Emancipation of Mimi by Mariah
Carey. Wow.
I like
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, it kind of reminds me of Invincible a little bit, as in there's a little bit of filler, but the good stuff is classic material. Of course, I mean, this is her quote unquote comeback record because, she had the Glitter album that came out and was a dud, even though in hindsight, Glitter is actually a pretty good record, but that's a conversation for another day. Then she tried to come back with Charm Bracelet after that. That didn't really do anything. But she got back into a new bag with the Emancipation of Mimi. You know, of course, songs like "Shake It Off," which is like the girl version of Confessions, because you know Jermaine Dupri's all over both of those records. You know, you have "We Belong Together," "Like You Rock My World," a very overrated song that was a hit.
Yeah,
but the stuff on here that's great is great. I mean, you have "Circles," which is an amazing song. You have "Stay the Night," dope production by Kanye West. Even though we're not allowed to not hate him today, but whatever. dope. Kanye's usage of that "Betcha by Golly." When Kanye took the "Betcha by Golly Wow" cover from Ramsey Lewis and flipped it for "Stay the Night," just chef's kiss. And then "Mine Again," co-written by James Poyser from The Roots. That should have been the opening track on the album, in my opinion. You know, sort of like making the ballad the opening track, the way she did with like "A Vision of Love." Yeah, man. And then you have songs like I Wish You Knew. You have songs like you know, and then "Fly Like a Bird," a beautiful, amazing closer. I always say that's the fight between old Mariah and whispering new Mariah, like having a fight with each other at the end, and whispering Mariah winning, because after this, you know, the old Mariah's voice was gone. But that song is kind of like the two of them trying to go against each other. But it's a great song with a great melody, with great lyrics. So yeah, I gotta pick "Emancipation of Mimi." I mean, Mariah Carey, not only one of the greatest singers of all time, but also one of the best songwriters of all time.
I'm not mad at that, man. Yeah,
me either.
Yeah, honorable mention to "Say Something." I was a huge Neptunes fan during this time.
Yeah,
so Pharrell
that was dope back into that.
That's another thing. Like, because it's the 2000s, it's so weird. There's so many people we're going to mention that are totally problematic today for one reason or another, whether it's Snoop Dogg, Justin Timberlake, Kanye West, R. Kelly. Like, so many people who might come up today are people that we're not allowed to like anymore. It's just, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to go kind of slightly left to center on this one. I'm going to go with "Discovery" by Daft Punk.
"Discovery" by Daft Punk, huh?
Yeah.
Why that album?
Yeah. So why this album? I mean, it's one of the most contagious dance records that I've ever heard. And I guess the best way that I can describe it is like, it's like you're watching Tron and Saturday Night Fever morph into the same movie. Like, that's how it sounds to me. Like, it's futuristic, but it's got that disco funk to it. And like pretty much every song title, like it's telling you what its intentions are. Like, you know, "High Life," "Voyager," "One More Time." Like, these are all songs that live up to their song title, and there's a mood, there's a groove, there's a feel to it that you just get lost in. Yeah. So yeah, like, you know, shout out to Daft Punk. I know "One More Time," like there was a time that you could not escape that song on the radio, and there was a bit of fatigue. But even now, like whenever I watch some of their, you know, I watched their Alive 2007 concert recently, and I'm like, man, like these songs still hit. And we're talking like thousands of people going nuts when they see them on stage and they go into that song. So the album is dope from start to finish.
Isn't "Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger" on that one too?
Yep, that's also on there. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
it's funny that you mentioned Alive. That's like an Erykah Badu situation where like the live album is the best album by the artist.
Yeah,
that Alive. Yeah.
That's
all right. All right. Next pick for me. Now I've gone rock heavy the first two pick, honestly, but I'm gonna do something different here. This pick here, I'm gonna pick an album that actually means something personal to me, because it was actually the first gift my wife got for me when we first started dating, and that was a 1 month anniversary. It is Justin Timberlake's second album, "Future Sex Love Songs."
I was waiting.
I knew that was coming off the board.
So my wife had bought that record for me for our first month anniversary in 2006, and now it just come out too. Also, you know, that it's a great. I think that was the first time I worked with Timbaland too, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually, no, second time.
No, he worked with Timbaland on
Justified too. Yeah,
a couple of songs, but not the whole album. Just a couple.
It was
songs,
like
right?
it was four songs out of it.
Yeah, like "Cry Me a River" is probably the biggest hit that they did on Justified together. But you're right though.
But this album, he did the entire shebang here. Yeah, I love the record. It's probably his best record still to this day. I'm not
mad at that. Honestly, like I see you, Matt. I see you, Matt. Like 2020 Experience Part 1 is right there, though.
Yes.
Listen,
right there.
If 2020 Experience, okay, if you swap the two ballads on 2020 Experience, because it was 2 albums, if you just take the 2 ballads from Part 1, Blue Ocean Floor and Spaceship Coupe, which musically sounds fine, but lyrically is trash, you take those out, replace them with 2 songs from Part 2, Drink You Away and Take Back the Night, in that order, in those placements, 2020 Experience is literally a perfect record and easily eclipses Future Sex Love Sounds.
You mean the first one, the first version of that?
The first version. I mean, if you scrap the Part 2 and just took Drink You Away and Take Back the Night and put those on 2020 Part 1, take away Blue Ocean Floor, take away Spaceship Coupe, and boom, that's it. And then the whole album is just nothing but just fast-paced bangers, no ballads. Even though I like You Got It On the second one, but just to reel it back in, Future Sex Love Sounds, yeah, it's, you can't, there's really nothing wrong with it outside of that stupid Chop Me Up record with 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
Like a song? That's like a freestyle,
no,
right?
It completely takes you out. It just takes you completely out of the album. I mean, it sticks out like a
to
sore
be fair,
thumb.
though, I've heard that criticism across the board from many people, but that's the one song of the album that really stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
you're actually not. You're part of the majority there. If you're honest, you're not saying anything that's actually like not. Everybody agrees with that. Actually, with that assessment. To be honest with you. So
the irony, though, is my favorite song on the album is the one of 2 non-Timbaland songs, which is "Damn Girl," which was done by Will I Am.
Damn Girl.
Yeah, I love that record. That's my favorite on the set, and Will I Am produced that one. But I mean, you can't really argue with it. And I love the transition of Let Me Talk to Her into My Love.
My Love is my favorite song. That's why I bought the album in the first place, was the song My Love, because that was my wife and I's song when we first started dating. So there you go.
So, if I may, quick comment, because I want to come back to 2020 Experience, and I'm gonna wrap it up with Future Sex Love Sounds. So I actually made a quick playlist. Like, I took the best of the 2 records and tried to make, like, try to do something similar to like Thriller, Purple Rain. Like, what are the best 9 songs and how can I sequence them together? So I went from Push Your Love Girl, Suit and Tie, Don't Hold the Wall, Strawberry Bubblegum, Take Back the Night, Not a Bad Thing, That Girl, Let the Groove Get In, and then end with Mirrors. Those 9 songs, that to me would elevate that album to a higher level in my mind.
Yeah,
but
Mirrors should have been the last song on the album for sure. Blue Ocean Floor, I still don't understand what the hell the purpose of that record was.
Yeah,
honestly, I will say my part of my favorite Dustin song of all time is probably on that album, though. The second one of 2020 is TKO.
Interesting. No, okay, I was not expecting TKO from you. Like,
I love TKO. I know. I've listened to a lot lately too. Also, especially.
It's fine. It's also a little overrated.
The song is okay.
I think if I had to pick a favorite from Part 2, it would I would say Drink You Away, but the live version they did on the American Music Awards blows the album version out of the water. Shout out to Adam Blackstone. But my favorite on Part 2 is probably Only When I Walk Away. That's probably my favorite on that one.
That's fair.
All right, round 4, Matthew. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just making a quick comment about Future Sex Love Sound. Like, my favorite song on the record is Until the End of Time, strictly because the fact it's Raspberry Beret's intro slowed down. I love the fact that samples in that way. It's so dope. And then the song is gorgeous once the strings kick in.
Not to make about Michael again, though, but this album is why I always wanted Michael to work with Timbaland, because if Timbaland can get that out of Justin Timberlake, could you imagine the work he could do with Michael Jackson?
The crazy thing is that both the two biggest hits from the first 2 Justin albums are songs that were submitted to Michael first.
I know.
Yeah.
So all the Neptunes records were submitted to Michael from Justified, and Sexy Back was submitted to Michael before it got to Justin too.
That's crazy, man.
There you go.
And if I remember, I think Yeah, and I think You Don't Have to Call was also given, like,
You Don't Have to Call,
proposed to Mike, because like the bridge is like Gonna Boogie Tonight, like that was written with Michael in mind.
And then Gone by NSYNC.
Yes,
too.
Yeah,
Gone
with
that
NSYNC,
was a record. Michael wanted to record it, but it's just that he only wanted to do it with Justin.
Yeah,
which is actually what made Justin quit NSYNC.
Damn, Michael.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael's a cold cat, man. He was cold, so
he would have killed that song.
Michael knew what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? That's it. He knows he's a genius.
Can you imagine Gone being on Invincible?
Oh my God,
man, that's crazy.
That would have made it. Yeah, he would have killed that. Oh, absolutely. All right, round 4, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, round 4. Let's see. Okay. All right. I talked about my favorite singer of all time with Invincible. We're going to talk about the GOAT artist of all time, and that's Stevlin Morris, Mr. Stevie Wonder. I'm picking 2005's A Time to Love by Stevie Wonder.
Wow, I'm surprised you picked that album, man. That's good.
Is Positivity on that album? Is Positivity on that album too? Positivity?
Yes, Positivity is the penultimate song on the album. Yeah. So, all right. So, yes, I love Stevie Wonder. I mean, for those of you who can see, this is the back of my cell phone. You know, he's the GOAT. I love him.
My number 2.
Him and Mike are 1 and 1A. So, it was his first album in 10 years. His album before was Conversation Piece, which was, whatever. But A Time to Love, which is still his most recent album up to this day. So it's been 15 years. Man, talk about no skips. This is like his return to form in a big way. You know, you don't have the dated engineering and recording that came from the 80s and 90s that's on here. It's very up to date and it's fresh. You have a lot of great material on here. He makes great use of his features. Of course, Kim Burrell on the opening track, If Your Love Will Not Be Moved, as well as Dougie Fresh beatboxing on the rhythm track. You got you got Kirk Franklin's choir on Shelter in the Rain. You have Prince's guitar work in What's the Fuss, along with In Vogue's background vocals. Of course, his daughter on Positivity, and also his daughter is on How Will I Know. And then you got Stevie doing his Stevie thing, playing all the instruments, back on the drums, back on harmonica. Just great material on here. From the Bottom of My Heart, which is just a Grammy-winning song, a beautiful record. Almost brings you to tears every time. You got The Sweetest Somebody I Know, which goes back to his funky clavinet days. You got Can't Imagine Love Without You, which is just a beautiful, gorgeous ballad. Shout out to Nathan Watts, his longtime bass player, who plays great bass on that one. You got Moon Blue, which is a gorgeous record. You get him using his falsetto a little bit at the end of it. Great piano solo. Stevie's just the best. He's absolutely the best.
Yeah, yes. He's my number 2 artist behind Michael, of course. So, all right. Round 4th pick for you, Chris. What you got?
Yeah, real quick. I saw. I think it's pronounced Halise. Is that how you say her name? Halise. Yeah.
I think Matt, is that right? Halise.
Yeah, she said we're breaking her heart, saying songs are overrated. So
I said what I said. She gave me crap about You Rock My World on the top of the show. Listen, it doesn't mean, look, overrated doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not to me as good as what people make it out to be. Like when I say the Beatles are overrated, I'm not saying the Beatles aren't great. I just don't think it's the greatest band in the whole world. I don't think that as great as people make them out to be. That's all. Sue me.
No, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? That's at least, but in general. So
Shout out to Halise. She's been supporting me for so long. That's awesome. You know, is there for me for years and years and years. Supported me through dark times, through light times, and I'm just glad that she's on here and representing, giving her 2 cents in. So thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, go ahead.
Shout out to Elise. Yeah. My next pick is Donuts by Jay Dilla.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice one. That's a good one.
Yeah, to me, that's a properly rated album. You cannot overstate how great that album is. And the reason I picked it is that I think an instrumental album is a great entry point for someone who may think that mainstream hip hop has nothing to offer them. And when it comes to Donuts, like I love how Dilla is able to craft moods out of sampling soulful artists like Dionne Warwick on Stop or the Jackson 5 on Time. He makes it easy for anybody to appreciate, artful, soundscapes. And he does it in a way that it doesn't sound overproduced. It doesn't sound underproduced. It's just right. And that's what made Dilla.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Love that pick. My favorite on there is Two Can Win, which is a great sample of the Silvers. And the Jackson and then the Time record, that's All I Do Is Think of You. I love working on it. That's another great one.
Oh, good one.
It's literally and he literally made it on his deathbed. Like he literally made it on his deathbed. It's crazy. It came out on his birthday on the 7th of February 2006, and by the 10th of February 10th, he was gone. It's just crazy.
Wow.
Age 33 has so much more to give.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
All right, I go.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Dilla.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go my hip hop bag now. We done rock early. I went obviously pop with Justin in the last round. This round, I'm gonna go hip hop. I'm gonna go with probably arguably the biggest artist, not just in the genre, but probably the biggest artist, arguably in that decade. I'm gonna go with Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP.
Okay. I thought you were gonna go a different direction, but that's good.
I was going to take the Eminem show because Eminem show is actually my favorite album of his.
Me too.
But the bigger album is Marshall Mathers LP. All the biggest hits are on that album. So I'm gonna go with the better, the more what you call the bigger album. So commercial, if you will. So
they've both sold about the same though. They're both about 10, 11 million each.
Yeah, but the other one probably sold on the back on the first one. Marshall Mathers LP set up the success for the Eminem show. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But all the best songs, his biggest songs are all on this record. You know what I mean? So Stan's on there, and
Stan's crazy.
Yeah, I think Without Me's on there too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Without Me's on the Eminem show.
The Eminem show, right? That's right. You're right. Yeah. So all the biggest hits on that. Yeah. But I love the album. And Eminem could claim to be arguably the biggest artist in general of that decade. Arguably.
And it's on the strength of those first. Yeah, and it's on the strength of the first two albums, and of course the 8 Mile soundtrack.
Right.
Which is like hip hop Purple Rain.
Yes.
Yep. So funny enough, this was maybe 3 weeks ago. I was on my way back from a funeral. I was riding with my mom, and we got into a conversation of who we think is the greatest rapper of all time. And she surprised me. She said Eminem. I'm like, really? Okay. And she's like, yeah, he's just very clever with his wordplay. And she started rattling off songs. And I'm like, a lot of the songs came from his first LP. So the Marshall Mathers LP.
Right. First off, she has a conversation because he's definitely my Marshall. And not only that, he's actually in the top 10 biggest selling artists of all time in any genre.
Yeah.
He's in the top 10.
Yeah,
so
the
impact is there.
Yeah, I said you have an argument. I'll always argue LL Cool J. Like, to me, he's the greatest of all time. But when it comes to Eminem, I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, Eminem is definitely in Mount Rushmore. I mean, when number 1, 2, 3, or 4, I don't care. As long as it's in Mount Rushmore, I'm good with that. That dude, he spits and he has success to back it up too. Also, so I'm with you. All right, round 5. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it hip hop. Also, I'm gonna pick my favorite artist from my favorite artist of the 21st century, and my favorite album of that artist. That is 2005's Late Registration by Kanye West.
That was coming too. That was definitely on the list. Definitely on the list. How do you feel about Kanye these days, man?
Yeah. So
anyway.
Listen, no comment. But listen, I always love Kanye, and it's mostly because of the first 6 albums. All the stuff that he's been saying and things of that nature, all that stuff. I mean, whatever. I mean, you can take it with a grain of salt. You can get upset if you want. If you go to Twitter and you defend him, you're part of the problem. If you go to Twitter and you lambaste him, you're also part of the problem, because that's what he wants. So if you really want to stick it to him, Don't type at all, because the more you type how much you don't like him, then that means that you're giving him power still. And if you type that I stopped listening to him or whatever, it's like, well, you're attention hungry, just like he is. So maybe you see more of yourself and more of Kanye in yourself than you realize. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
That's why I don't even react to it, because I know it's attention seeking.
Yeah, because exactly. But here's my thing. The College Dropout came out. It did its thing. It's a great album. But Late Registration, man, he really upped the ante. One of the great things about Kanye West, particularly in his first 6 albums, is that he always put hip hop on a pedestal. He always wanted to push it further. And by enlisting John Bryan, the brilliant producer and musician, the guy that helped Portishead with their records, who worked with Fiona Apple, bringing him on to help him with this vision of adding symphonic orchestral arrangements and instrumentation on top of his soul sampling, it really was something that took it to a new level. Some of the best Kanye songs are on Late Registration. You have Crack Music, which has got some excellent lyricism. You have Diamonds from Sierra Leone remix, when he's talking about the whole blood diamond thing that's happening, and the polarity of Black people wanting to have diamonds to show off, but not understanding that the diamonds are literally killing people in Africa. You have things like We Major, which is such one of the most underrated records of hip hop in that whole decade. You have Gone, which is some great lyricism. One of my favorite lyrics from Kanye is from Gone. Right. I'm ahead of my time, sometimes years out, so the powers that be won't let me get my ideas out. It's just, and it's so prophetic. I think that Late Registration walked so that To Pimp a Butterfly could run, to be perfectly honest. Because
now that's a hot take right there.
No, because listen to me. I've thought about this for years. Because To Pimp a Butterfly, it talks a lot about the progression of a person after they've had so much success. Just like Kendrick was coming off of Good Kid, Mad City and going into Pimp a Butterfly, Kanye was coming off of College Dropout, going into Late Registration, talking about a lot of things with their family dynamic and all that stuff. You know, with Kendrick is talking about things like You and those sorts of songs. Kanye has songs like Roses, where he's talking about his grandmother being sick. You have all these political statements on To Pimp a Butterfly, like Wesley's Theory, like Hood Politics. Of course, you have songs like Heard 'Em Say, which is political, Crack Music, which is political, Diamonds, which is political. You know, it's just a lot of great stuff. And then, of course, Kendrick, you know, taking, you know, a lot of jazz and live instrumentation and putting that on top of what he was doing. That's what Kanye West did with Late Registration, going from purely just samples and then going into adding instrumentation. It's my favorite Kanye West album of all time.
That's fair. I like that. Yeah, and there are 2 songs that are probably tied as my favorite. You got Spaceship and Drive Slow. To me, Paul Wall and T.I., they blacked out on that record, man. Like
Drive Slow, man.
They sound great.
Yeah, it really Drive Slow. That's just a slow burning song. Like, it takes a while for you to get into it, but once it clicks with you, it's in you forever. That's how We Major was to me.
Right.
Yeah.
She said she took us on a ride. You did, Matt. Took us on a ride.
Yo, man, I got a lot of time to think about stuff like this.
I know you do. You are a musical, like you know your music. That's a damn sure. All right, brother. Chris, go ahead. Fifth pick. What you got?
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in hip hop as well. I gotta go with the biggest album, the biggest hip hop album that came out there, or one of, I should say.
Please
one
don't
of,
take
if
it.
not the biggest. Speaker Box, The Love Below, Outkast. Got to.
Yeah, that was on my list.
That to me that's the hip hop equivalent of the Beatles' White Album.
Good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You got the right artist. You got the right artist on the album. Thank you.
Yep, for sure.
No,
go ahead.
Right.
Okay. No, go ahead, Chris.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Yeah, like to me, like especially with Big Boy, like to me, he often gets overshadowed because of Andre 3 Stacks, like his charisma, his persona. But I'm telling you, like pound for pound, like Big Boy's got some of the best songs on this album, man. Like outside of the big hits, Ghetto Music and I like the Way You Move, but to me, Bow Tie is probably my favorite song on that record. You could play that at a wedding reception right now, and people would go nuts and start dancing to it. Like that's the kind of record that I'm down for. Reset is another great song. I really love the R&B hip hop blend to that. But I gotta say this about the Love Below, though. That is probably the greatest Prince album that Prince never released himself. Like Andre was in his bag with the Love Below. And there's so many songs I love on it. Like it reminds me of like there's a lot of Sign of the Times and even Around the World in a Day type vibes with it. But if I had to pick the one song off of Love Below that I love the most, it's probably She Lives in My Lap with Rosario Dawson. Like that to me is that's If I Was Your Girlfriend, The Ballad of Dorothy Parker, and She's Always in My Hair, all wrapped up in one song.
Right.
Like,
the Ballad of Dorothy Parker particularly is like the biggest.
Especially with the drums. Yeah, with the drums and the Camille vocals, like the Camille-like vocals. If I Was Your Girlfriend, and then She Lives in My Lap, She's Always in My Hair. Like I kind of see the connection there. So, but yeah, She Lives in My Lap is probably the dopest song on that record. But I mean, start to finish is dope. So yeah,
to me, Prototype. When I heard Prototype,
I
was
love
like,
that song.
What the hell is this? This can't be the same group that did Rosa Parks and Elevators.
Right.
Like it's just, and then it's great. But you're absolutely right. Big Boy is always getting overshadowed for Andre. When to me, he's just as good in terms of his ability, in terms of his rhyming. One of my favorites on the whole 2-album set is from Big Boy's side, which is Bow Tie. That's just some great funky, great music, great horn lines, awesome hook. Ghetto Music, at least you mentioned Ghetto Music. That's another dope one. Just love it. But then we get Andre, you have songs like Dracula's Wedding. You got songs like Happy Valentine's Day, which is one of the few songs like he's rapping on it. You got Roses, which Big Boy is on Roses. Hey Ya is such a great track because it's become the iconic example of when you take a happy sounding composition with a somber, poignant lyric. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a sad song lyrically, but musically it's very, very uplifting, which is why he even says, "Yeah, you don't want to hear me, you just want to dance." He's kind of like trolling people.
Yep. So I love the fact that you brought that up, because that to me ties to the statement I made about this being the greatest Prince album that Prince ever made. Is that Hey Ya does exactly what I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man does. Happy beat, but the lyrics, you're like, yo, like he's going through it, like just trying to figure all this stuff out. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey Ya does the same thing.
Let me just say you scared me because I'm picking Outkast next, but you have the right band, wrong album. That was gonna pick.
I know what you're picking, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought you were gonna take the album I wanted next because I was literally gonna pick that right now.
He's gonna go with Idlewild.
I'm gonna go with Stankonia as was my 5th pick because that was what I thought you were gonna take that. I was like, oh my god, don't take Stankonia. And he said Outkast, like Outkast, and he goes like, speak about okay, we're good. So I want Stankonia next, and I'm taking Stankonia. Of course, that album, it's arguably their biggest or arguably the most popular album, arguably, I would say.
But Speakerboxxx Love Below is Diamond.
Sales wise, Speakerboxxx Love Below is the biggest, but if you're talking about their best, some people argue Aquemini, other will say Stankonia. So or AT-Aliens is up there too.
Right. Obviously got Miss Jackson, So Fresh So Clean. You got of course the Big Bombs on Baghdad. Of course that song. I remember that song came out like, wow, this is Outkast.
Yeah,
they sounds like it was made in a spaceship.
I mean, I don't know if we discussed it on the one of the last episode we did, the 90s episode. I'm not sure if we did this or not, but or maybe some other episode I did with you, Matt, or I don't know. But they might be the biggest hip hop group of all time.
They're certainly the biggest hip hop duo of all time.
Biggest.
Say what you will about.
I would still say Run DMC is probably the biggest hip hop group of all time.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, how big is their catalog in comparison to Outkast? I mean,
now if we're talking catalog, no, I'm with you. I mean, shoot, to me, if you're gonna say the best hip hop group ever, it's between Outkast and Tribe Called Quest.
Right,
it's those two for me.
because Outkast is definitely in
Yeah.
a conversation. It's
Yeah.
definitely a Mount Rushmore group all time. I mean, I'm talking about you take any hip hop group all time. I'm putting Outkast in that top 4.
Well,
So
Wu
duo
Tang's
group
got
doesn't
to
matter.
be. Yeah, Wu Tang's in the
Yeah.
conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're Mount Rushmore,
De
go
La,
Wu-Tang.
Oh,
I think
yeah, De La Soul.
I think that Outkast is closer to De La in terms of their consistency than they are to
Yes.
Tribe Called Quest.
That, and
Even
they
though
appeal to the mainstream. They're on regular radio still to this day. Like hey, it's always on radio. It's on radio regularly to this day.
Yeah, Hey Ya, The Way You Move.
Yeah.
So Fresh, So Clean.
Yeah.
Miss Jackson.
Miss Jackson. It's crazy that Miss Jackson was their first #1 hit single on the Hot 100, and it's a song.
Really?
Yes, and it's a song where they're trying to appeal to the mothers of their baby mothers or their ex-wives or all that stuff. It's such a weird. It's kind of like Billie Jean, where it's just like the subject matter is really like minute. It's a very specific like subject matter, but it's still very universal in that way.
Yeah.
So absolutely, Outkast is Seikoni is a good pick, dude.
Yeah.
All right,
That's a perfect pick.
Absolutely. Round number 6. Matt, go.
Round number 6. Okay. All right. So this is now we're getting into some stuff. You know, you guys have picked some good stuff here. Let me see what I have next. Wow. I was wondering if I should stay in hip hop or go somewhere else. You know what? I'm gonna do this. Go back to the ladies here. I'm picking Frank by Amy Winehouse.
Frank?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Frank. Wow.
Frank record. Great record.
Not
Frank,
Back to Black, huh?
Nope. I prefer Frank to Back to Black just by this much. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Frank, because the chemistry between Amy Winehouse and Salaam Remi is, in my opinion, much richer than the chemistry between her and Mark Ronson. Not to say that her and Mark Ronson didn't have great chemistry. They did. But there's just a synergy in between Salaam and Amy that's just so sublime and goes beyond even music to a certain degree. It's like there's, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're musical soulmates. I think that if anybody recorded on top of Back to Black, it would have been a hit in terms of the stuff that Mark was contributing, because of it just got into that right zeitgeist of time where there was a lot of retro, you know, people rocking that retro sound. Frank does that, but it does it more organically. You know, you think about songs like, you know, you should be stronger than me, songs like F Me Pumps, songs like You Send Me Flying, which is like one of my favorite Amy Winehouse songs. That sounds like something like SWV would have did back in the day.
Good
you know
comparison. Yeah.
So,
I can totally hear it.
You know, so and then and like Love Is Blind, I heard Love Is Blind. It's just there's just it's so much great material on Frank, and because Back to Black became such a big crossover, it's kind of like pushes Frank down a little bit in terms of the notoriety. But no, I gotta take Frank. Even though I love Back to Black, but Frank, I gotta take that one. It's just a great record.
Yeah. Question for you, Matthew. It was Amy's connection to Salaam Remi the reason that she ended up connected with Nas later?
Yes, because she was a huge Nas fan, and so that's why, like, you know, she ended up like on Cherry Wine on Nas's record.
Cherry Wine's dope.
I mean, the Me Mr. Jones is about Nas, is a reference to Nas because Nas's government name is Nasir Jones, so you know they had a mutual admiration. So yeah, Salaam Remi, of course, because you know he produced stuff for Nas, like Made You Look and those sort of things. Yeah,
that's dope.
Right. Man. All right, Chris, 6th pick.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm like y'all. Like I got like a bunch of hip hop picks I could go with. So I'm gonna go for something personal. I'm gonna go with In My Mind, Pharrell.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
What year that came out?
That was 2006, man. And I specifically like that was my soundtrack for the summer of 2006 for me. Like I committed that album to memory. Like and it's not like, you know, one of the finest albums ever made, but it's so personal because it defined my summer of 2006. Like I was, going from 10th grade to 11th grade, in high school. So like I was listening to that nonstop. Like, Can I Have It Like That? Best Friend, Number One. Gosh, I mean, like there's so many other songs. Like, How Does It Feel? Like that beat is bananas if you play that on a good sound system.
Yeah.
I mean, just every song on that record just connects with me, but it specifically takes me back to, the summer of me going from being in 10th grade to 11th grade. Like life was just so good during that time.
Yeah.
So, and then, just the Neptune sound, like Pharrell and Chad could do no wrong. Like they dominated the 2000s, and it's tragic that they're no longer together. But but no, man, like that record is insane. And then Out of My Mind, the spinoff that he did with Questlove, the live instrumentation is crazy,
dude.
Crazy.
That was gonna be I'm gonna say something crazy.
Go.
Out of My Mind made In My Mind irrelevant to me.
Ooh, hey, I'm not mad at that.
I can't
I'm
even
not mad at that.
I literally can't listen to In My Mind after it just sounds super inferior now because getting Questlove and James Poyser and Adam Blackstone to replay those songs,
You Can Do It Too. Their cover, You Can Do It Too, is crazy.
You Can Do It Too, and then like the way that he used the Jimmy Castor drum beat on How Does It Feel?
How Does It Feel?
Yeah. And then of course James Poyser's keyboard playing and Adam Blackstone's bass on Take It Off, Dim the Lights. Oh, it makes that song so much more sexy than it was on In My Mind. Like literally, In My Mind is completely irrelevant after that. And
that's fair. I'm not mad at that.
I'm praying that somehow, some way, that there'll be an official release like on Record Store Day or something like that.
I hope so.
That's straight to vinyl of because I still have the bootleg CD somewhere in here, of that. So yeah, but that's a good pick. Thanks for bringing that one up.
Oh no, you're welcome, man. Like I said, that album takes me back, man. So like when I was going through the 2000s, I was like, "There's no way I'm not going to add this in here." It's a personal thing for me. But EJ, who you got next, man?
All right, 6th pick for me. This could be arguably the most popular album of the decade. Right? I think this thing sold close, if not over 3 million copies. I'm going to take Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory.
Oh, good pick.
This album sold like hotcakes. This band came out of nowhere for me, by the way. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's
their debut album.
It's a debut album. And they came out of nowhere. I didn't know who they were. I heard In the End. It was all over radio. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, okay. And that album never stopped. And they were red hot in 2000, 2001. And with Meteora in 2002, 2003. This is actually probably I don't know the stats on this yet, but I believe this might be the biggest album of the 2000s.
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Right.
Man.
So
I mean, on the strength of In the End alone, I mean, like it took it to another planet.
Yeah,
it's an undeniable record.
Yeah, One Step Closer, With You, Point of Authority. I mean, this is a I mean, it's a smash like through the entire album, and I saw them live once. They're really good live. I'm not the biggest Linkin Park fan on the planet, but good lord, this album came out of nowhere. Now, granted, my favorite album there's Meteora, but this album is by far the bigger one of the two. So, I mean, like I said, biggest album of the decade, arguably. So, Linkin Park Meteora is Hybrid Theory rather is my pick for the 6th round. All right,
that's fair.
Yeah.
And real quick, I miss that sound, man. Like that punk, pop, hip hop kind of feel that like
rap,
I heard that.
There's a lot of that
early to mid 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like I miss that sound.
And the thing is, they went away from that after Meteora. They started going away from that from the rap stuff. Like they did a little bit of Meteora, and then by the time they got Minutes to Midnight. What the weird thing too about that is that everything after Meteora gets criticized to the hilt. But my 2 favorite songs from Linkin Park are actually on Minutes to Midnight.
Minutes to Midnight's probably my favorite of their.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. There's just like you said, there was so much of that with new metal and you
yeah,
you
and
metal
you
that's going
metal,
on.
yeah.
Like Linkin Park was kind of like the tail end of that, like of people like Limp Bizkit and people like Korn, and to a lesser degree like an Incubus. But
yeah. Man, I
you
miss
know,
them.
like rock bands with DJs, you know. But Linkin Park, I just there's just something that was more organically rock on Minutes to Midnight that I enjoyed a little bit more. I just love like melody. Like melody, I have to be able to hum something like when I'm done, you know, at the end of the day. I mean, the Hybrid Theory has a lot of that. I remember I'll never forget the first time I heard Crawling. That was like it was literally like, you know, I had to do one of these because, you know, Chester, God rest his soul, he really just committed to that vocal. And it's just so like, you could really feel it, you know, like crawling in my skin.
You talk about like artists and frontmen or whatever you want to call it, that you can feel the torture and the trauma of their life through the music. And there's a lot of artists who have that. I really don't think there's artists that wore that on his sleeve or her sleeve more than Chester Bennington with Linkin Park. And you can see the trauma and hear the trauma, the pain in his. I mean, look, the guy committed suicide. Okay,
Yeah.
the two songs I mentioned, I know we're talking about Hybrid Theory here, but my two favorite songs on Minutes Midnight, you know, what's the two songs I was talking about? Giving Up and Leave Out All the Rest. You can hear the anger, the pain in his voice, and in the lyrics too, especially too. Like, I don't think there's been an artist that's ever translated the anger and the pain of his life probably as obvious and as transparent as Chester Bennington ever did from the first album on. So yeah, that's why Linkin Park is definitely torturous listening to sometimes because it's like, wow, you can feel the pain, you can feel it. And when he died, I mean, I remember playing his record the day he died. It was like, wow, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it kind of we're all together. Yeah. All right, round number 7, Matt. Go ahead.
All right, you did a rock album, so I'll do rock. I haven't really been doing rock yet, so 2004's American Idiot by Green Day.
Oh my God, that was coming up. That was next probably, buddy. Oh my God.
That's
yes.
So I mean, what else can be said about the album that hasn't already been said? It's one of the most critically acclaimed rock records of that decade. Definitely the most critically acclaimed of Green Day's, and it really brought them back. I mean, the album before had hits, but this is really like really put them back like in front as the biggest. This is the biggest band in America. I mean, of course, you have American Idiot, the title track, which is just like it's standard Green Day material. But then you get to songs like Boulevard of Broken Dreams, which is just so dope. I mean, it's such a great song. And then you have Holiday, you have Jesus of Suburbia, and then maybe my favorite song on the album, which is Wake Me Up When September Ends. It's just
great song.
It just speaks to me so much in terms of my adolescence and my early adulthood in college. It's just it's just a great record. And so I got to put American Idiot in there. You know, it's just a great moment in time, something that would be a hit today if it came out. Particularly songs like Wake Me Up When September Ends and songs like Boulevard of Broken Dreams. It's just, you know, it keeps what made Green Day so attractive in terms of the punk aesthetic and energy, especially when you hear songs like Holiday, but then having a war-worn maturity in it in a way that they hadn't before. So yeah.
And they also wore the politics on their sleeve.
Absolutely.
Like especially that album in 2004, American Idiot was literally about George Bush.
Yeah,
that was during the Iraq War. And Billy Joe has been to this day, very transparent about his politics. And it hasn't really hurt them, to be honest with you, because they you know why? Because at least they're authentic to who they are. They don't do it because it's cool to do it. They that way because that's who they've been for their entire lives. So even people who may not agree with the politics still like them because at least they're authentic to who they are.
Yeah.
So that's why I always respected Green Day. So, by the way, not my favorite album there is though, but my favorite album is Dookie still. But you know, I do like Green Day, though, a lot.
Yeah, I like Dookie too.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Chris, seventh pick.
Yeah, great pick on Green Day. So I'll kind of keep it going. I'll keep it in the rock vein, but it's going to be more psychedelic. I'm going to go with Oracle Spectacular by MGMT.
Oracle Spectacular, you said?
Yep.
Interesting.
So the song that introduced me to their whole record, I got to give a shout out to NBA 2K10. It was Electric Feel. When I first heard that, it took me by surprise, bro. I was like, what is this? Like, I was blown away. So my entry point was Electric Feel, but what kept me like hooked to the record was the song Kids. Kids is like, that is one of the most like euphoric songs I've ever heard in my life. Like, you get so lost in it. It's a fantastic record, but it's great from start to finish. But Electric Feel and Kids, those were the two songs that made me an MGMT fan.
All right, I haven't really gotten to the music heavily. Actually, I need to take a deep dive into that band because I've heard a lot of good things about them. Actually,
yeah.
So I do need to check them out one day. All right,
yeah. Those two songs alone, I think if you like those, I think you'll like the rest of the record.
Right.
And shout out to NBA PlayStation games because they be having some great music generations on those lists.
Bro.
Whether it's 2K, whether it's NBA Street, they curate the hell out of those.
There are a lot of artists and songs I discovered through those games too, like Kid Cudi. I knew who it was through NBA 2K9. I think it was actually.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Day and Night was on. I heard that. I heard that Live 09.
Yeah, I heard about that first on Live 09. Yes, correct. So yeah. All right, my pick here. I'm gonna go with one of the best shows I've ever been to my entire life. A legacy band, obviously. I love this band, but they are also an acquired taste though. But this is my favorite album of theirs as well too. I'm gonna go with 10,000 Days by Tool.
Ooh, I wasn't expecting that. Okay,
yeah,
talk about it.
10,000 Days is amazing. I love this record, man. My favorite song on the entire catalog, Vicarious, one of my favorite intros of all time on any album, any band. Vicarious, John B's a great song. The Pot. And look, Too Late for Everybody. Maynard ain't for everybody. It's acquired taste. Their stage shows are very, either you get it or you don't, and it's really you have to get it or you don't get it, and that's it. I saw them live for the first time 3 years ago. It is one of the best shows I've been to because when you go to a Tool concert, it's not a concert; it's an experience. You know what I mean? Lots of drugs there too, not on my end, but lots of drugs there too also because they do you don't really see the band play really that much. They play behind a screen somewhat too, also. So you don't really get to see they're not the typical band that plays like, okay, you see the band play and it's that there's a screen. They play behind a screen and it's like I said, it's an experience. Tool is different, man. And I mean, look, they release albums once every like freaking like 8-10 years. You know what I mean? So they released only 2 albums in the last 18 years. Because they're very particular with what they put out. But Tool, 2000 Days. By far my favorite record of theirs, and definitely worth a listen. Check out Vicarious, the first song of the album. It's amazing. So that is for me.
So,
all right.
So real quick, would you say for someone like me that's not familiar with that group, would you say that that's the best entry point?
Yeah, absolutely. Vicarious, John B, and The Pot, the 3 songs on the album off the rip.
All right, bet.
So all right. Round number 8.
Okay, round number 8.
We're getting close to the end, guys.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna pick 2000's "Mama's Gun" by Erykah Badu.
Ooh, good pick. I was wondering if Erykah's gonna make the cut here. So
for sure. Yeah. To me, it's my favorite studio album by Erykah. I think it's her best studio album. A lot of people will say Baduism, but to me, "Mama's Gun" is just it's a departure from Baduism. But at the same time, there's so much more to offer. I mean, it starts out with penitentiary philosophy, which is just like rock influence on top of funk. Of course, you have Jay Dilla, contributing production as well as James Poyser and Questlove. You have a song like "Didn't You Know," which is one of my favorite Jay Dilla productions. A great use of the Takira Blue sample with some live percussion on top of it. Erykah wrote the hell out of that. the OG version of Bag Lady, not the Chiba Sack remix that was the first single that's just like whatever. The album version that has the slow Bumpy's Lament sample, which is, you know, well known from Dr. Dre's Explosive, but the way that she slowed it down lyrically, Bag Lady, it's probably, I probably wouldn't have become a music journalist if it weren't for that song. Because it made me, much like the Destiny album did a few years before that, it made me really pay attention to lyrics and see myself in the lyrics. The whole idea of, you know, carrying this emotional baggage that's repelling the people around you because you're not dealing with your emotional baggage and you're letting it destroy you from the inside. That really, really spoke to me, and it put me on the journey to learn more about music and pay more attention to music and really celebrate it and analyze it. And here I am today. But, you know, you have songs like AD 2000, incredible political but simple song. You have I'm in Love with You with Stephen Marley, a great reggae influence record. Green Eyes, which takes that lounge singer Billie Holiday jazz thing to the hilt. Kiss Me on My Neck, another great Jay Dilla production. You have Booty, Clever. It's just a great record. I mean, like, you can't, it's amazing. An immaculate record, very warmly produced and engineered. I mean, I can't go wrong with it.
Yeah. And then to know that Tyrone was just like something that she and her background singers were just like, they were just riffing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it ended up turning into like a huge hit, you know, it was.
She hates it because of that, because she didn't care about it. That's literally that's the story of every artist's life. Erica doesn't like Tyrone. Flock of Seagulls doesn't like I Ran So Far Away. Rick James didn't like Super Freak. You know, everybody resents their biggest, like, not of course everybody resents hits that they resent it when their biggest hits are songs that were throwaways, songs that they didn't really care too much for.
Yeah.
You know, right, going back to even just real quick, just going back to you picked Marshall Mathers LP. The last two songs on that album that were recorded were its first two singles. So when he submitted the album, Jimmy Iovine wanted him to do another My Name Is, and Eminem felt the pressure, and then when he went in to make a record, he was just so angry that he was being pressured, he ended up making The Way I Am. And Jimmy Iovine's like, well, this is not what we wanted, but you can add it to the album because it's still great. And then at the end of the thing, that's when he came up with The Real Slim Shady, and then that became the first single.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Great story. That's a great story. All right, go ahead, Chris. Round 8 for you.
This is gonna be my dark horse. It is like, if people know this record, they know how great it is. I'm gonna go with The Colored Section by Donnie.
Oh my God! I can't believe you picked that. Oh my God!
Is that your list, Matt?
That was gonna be my next one. Oh my!
You're lying, bro. You're lying.
What is it called again?
The Colored Section.
It's called The Colored Section by Donnie.
Oh, dude. Oh, go ahead.
So and here's the thing. Or go ahead. What were we gonna say?
I never heard that album before, actually, to be honest.
Oh my gosh,
it's a great record. It's like a neo soul record.
I'll add it to my list.
Yeah. So here's where I thought it was gonna be your next pick after you talked about Stevie Wonder, because I hear so much Stevie Wonder on this album to me. Like, this is what a young Stevie Wonder of the 2000s. This is how I envision him sounding on this kind of record. So, my favorite song on the record is Heaven Sent. I mean, that is just a gorgeous, gorgeous song. You can play that anywhere. Like, dedicate that to the one you love, and you'll be golden after that. But another personal favorite of mine is Cloud 9, and then Big Black Buck. I love how it samples Nipsey Russell from The Wiz. Like, it's just a Black history lesson, you know, all throughout the record. Like, it's such it's political, it's soulful, it's a near perfect record. And anybody that's ever heard it, which is why you saw Matthew react the way that he did, if you know, that's one of those records you gotta listen to.
What happened? Well, he waited. He figured it wasn't gonna take it. I'll tuck this in the back later.
That was listen. This is like when you picked Terrence introducing the hard line when we did the 80s one. I was furious. I can't believe I let that one slip. Okay, this the colored section. One of because I'm writing a book on neo soul, so
right.
The colored section is one of the great like neo soul is littered with great debut albums.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another one that just gets lost in the fray. 2000 was like the peak of neo soul, and then it started to taper down.
Mm-hmm.
The color section came out about 2002, 2003.
Right.
Man, between Cloud 9, Heaven Sent, Turn Around, Do You Know? One of my favorites is Rocket Ship.
Yes,
it's just man, it's like if Donny Hathaway sang songs that were written by Stevie Wonder, that's what the colored section is.
That's a perfect description.
Particularly a song like Turn Around. Turn Around is with you get that clavinet sort of thing. You know, that's it. Stevie all day, but you have Donny Hathaway sort of timbre in Donny's voice. It's man, I
think so. And looking at this now, I actually remember the album cover, but I never actually heard the album. I remember the album cover.
Oh man, yeah.
Wow.
That album is like that. That's one of them ones, man. Like when you hear it, you hear the brilliance in it, no doubt. So man, this is what you get, Matt, for getting the number one pick 3 times in a row. I'm gonna steal something from you. Like it's just bound to happen.
I'm sorry, man. I don't feel bad for you, man. I'm sorry. You had you've had 3 episodes in a row that way you had the first pick in the draft. Took all my albums first. You know, Chris, get him, Chris. Good job.
All right, EJ, go ahead.
All right, for me, this is getting tough now because there's a lot of good albums here. Actually, you know what? I might change my pick here. Let me change my pick here. Hold on. Do I change it now?
He's gone audible at the line. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, because I want to go obvious here. Yeah, I think I'm going to change my pick here. I'm going to go an album that was huge in 2006. It is St. Elsewhere, Gnarls Barkley.
Gnarls Barkley, man, on the strength of Crazy, yo, that's a great.
But that whole album is good, though, man.
It is great.
It is good. It is good. Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah.
Well, I know my wife and I played a lot in the car back in the day. Again, this is the year we started dating, so I mean, that's fresh. To the theme here, with Elise saying here in the chat, memories and where you were in your life and this and that, these personal stories. This is another album of songs that at the time when we first started dating and we were, this is one of the soundtrack of our first years together. So, I mean, CeeLo Green, genius, So,
yeah,
more can say about that. So, just the name Gnarls Barkley is amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised Charles Barkley never tried to sue them.
So,
yeah, you would think.
Was it St. Elsewhere?
Yeah, St. Elsewhere. Even though I actually like the Odd Couple album that came out after that, but St. Elsewhere's got some jams on it. I mean, my favorite song on that album is Smiley Faces, the second single.
Oh, good.
Very Motown inspired. You got songs like Feng Shui, which has got some dope rapping by CeeLo on there. Another person that's super problematic today. But yeah, St. Elsewhere is a good pick. Google it. Just Google it.
Feng Shui?
Yeah. No, I was saying Google CeeLo being problematic, but yes, but Feng Shui is a
okay.
Oh yeah. If I'm thinking of the same thing you're thinking,
yes,
this happened not too long ago. That there were some things that came out. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, round 9.
Okay. Let's see. What do I have
to the end, guys.
left? Yeah, we're getting to the end. We got some good ones. Man, I got some really good ones. Do I want to do a dark horse, or do I want to do something a little more obvious? Okay, I'm gonna do a dark horse. No, I'll save the dark horse for the end. I just gotta pray that none of you guys pick it.
We count your blessings on that one.
Yeah. There's so many good ones, man. Like,
it's funny. We were worried about how much albums you can get in the 2000s, but I'm not obviously won't do it.
There's a lot left over.
We could probably do a 2.0 2000s actually.
Yeah, probably. But okay, so I'll probably end with 2 dark horses here.
Okay.
All right, my number. We'll see. My number 9 is going to be The Evolution of Robin Thicke by Robin Thicke.
Ooh, good pick. That is a dark horse. That's a good album.
Was that on your list, Chris?
No, it wasn't on my list, but I'm kind of surprised I didn't have it though, because I have that album and it's great.
Oh yeah,
great album.
It's a dope. It's Robin's, I think, his second album or his third album. And this is when he starts using his full name, because when he came out, he was just Thicke, because he was trying to like distance himself from
his dad.
Rest in peace to Alan Thicke, the excellent television actor and singer, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Look up. He sang that he was not only on Growing Pains, but he sang the Growing Pains theme song.
Show me that smile away.
Show me that smile.
Oh, very good.
So
Matthew is a man of many talents, people.
He really is, man.
Many talents.
So the first single on it was "I Want to Love You, Girl," which is a Neptune song. It's sort of it kind of sounded like a throwaway Neptune song though, because it was just a typical sounding beat. And the way he sang it was just so nonchalant. She's the kind of girl you want to marry.
Yeah.
But then Lost Without You became the second single. And that was the thing that really blew it up. But then Can You Believe came out after that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that's what made me buy the album. When I bought the album and I heard the first track, Gotta Be Down with Faith Evans, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then Complicated, and then Cocaine, and Teach You a Lesson, and then Shooter was actually on the album before, but then he added Lil Wayne to this one. And it was just, this is a dope record. Even though the album after this, Something Else, is a more sort of like concise album, this album is more essential, and just in terms of like the highs that you have on the like Something Else is a consistent album, but the highs on the Evolution of Robin Thicke is higher than probably any album that he's put out in his discography. Because like I said, Gotta Be Down, Complicated, Can You Believe, Lost Without You, those are some great records. Shout out to Robin Thicke, yet again, another problematic person that we have to talk about.
Yes,
like I always say, listen, I always say this: when people talk about cancel culture, you can't really be canceled unless you have a mostly black audience. He and Chrisette Michele are probably the only two people who've ever been effectively canceled. It's because they have all black audiences.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because
I mean, when he came out with that Beetlejuice suit.
or you call it a Beetlejuice suit, I call it a Foot Locker uniform.
There you go. Yeah, him coming out there with Miley Cyrus twerking on him and junk, and then the whole Paul Pickup album. I'm like, bro, you were down bad. Like, just let it go, bro.
It is crazy. It's crazy. When Blurred Lines came out, funny thing is, when Blurred Lines came out, it came out on the back of the Husbands of Hollywood show that he was on with Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, this is a cute little, Got to Give It Up sort of inspired thing. Good for them. This is kind of fun. Next thing you know, it's number one. I'm like, what? Number one? But Robin Thicke is for black folks. Like, what do white people know about this? And it's Got to Give It Up reference. Like, but it ended up being the best and worst thing that ever happened to him, because white people, like black people, didn't like him because of this lawsuit with Marvin Gaye's family. Then white people stopped liking him because of the subject matter of the album, of the song. And then when he put Paula out, when his life left him, it was a WRAP rap.
It was. But yeah, speaking of 2013, like you had Blurred Lines, and then right on the other side you had Get Lucky with Daft Punk and Pharrell. So like that was a huge summer. And that was a huge year for Pharrell.
That was a huge year for Pharrell. Those are his three biggest hits. All came out in that one year.
Yeah.
All right.
Crazy.
Ninth pick for you, Chris.
Oh my gosh, this is so tough. Because EJ, like you said, I mean, there's so many albums I could pick.
Don't take one of mine, because I have my laid out ready for the.
I know. Yeah, I'm torn.
One might be taken, actually. I think we'll see.
Shoot. You know what? I'm gonna go back to hip hop, and I'm gonna go to somebody that doesn't get enough credit.
Ooh.
And he is like he's a nightmare for other MCs if you mention his name. I gotta go with Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor.
Wow, that's a good pick.
Gotta go.
Very
with that.
good.
Very
I'm writing an article
underrated.
about him right now.
Oh, you are? And yo, listen, share that with me when it's up, bro. Share that when it's up.
It's gone about 2-3 weeks. It's about
Is
about the Lasers album.
Is it?
Oh, see now that I like that album, especially I'm Beaming. Him and Pharrell, they blacked out on that song. It's so,
the
so
crazy
tough.
thing is I'm Beaming's not on the actual album. It's just
I know it's a
bonus
deluxe.
track.
Yeah.
Is it on a Substack? Is it on a Substack, Matt? Or no?
It's gonna be on the Substack on March 8th, which is the 14th anniversary of Lasers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
But go ahead. Talk about Food and Liquor.
Yeah. Food and Liquor, his debut album. Man, I mean, on the strength of Kick Push, I mean, that put him on a lot of people's radar. But I actually had heard of Lupe on a song called Tilted. It was on the NBA Live 06 soundtrack. So I knew who Lupe was at that time.
Yeah.
But then when Kick Push came out, I was like, yo, like, this is that dude, man. And then the rest of the record is up. You got I Got You with Pharrell. The instrumental to me is one of the best songs on the whole record. And then Sunshine, love Sunshine. That's just a gorgeous song from start to finish. But yeah, like what I love most about Lupe is just like the double and triple entendres. I mean, he will rap, he'll run laps around any MC, especially today. Like nobody's touching him. Well, I mean, I think it'd be interesting for him and Kendrick to kind of go back and forth. Like that would be interesting.
He wants it to happen. He's been.
I know.
I talk about it in the article too.
Yeah, are you talking about the clip where he like kind of challenges Kendrick in a way of like being the best rapper alive? Like he's on stage or something.
He talks about like how he said the Control verse was whack, and he said that Drake was a better lyricist than him. It's to me it's like, I mean, I respect Lupe a lot, but I just feel like it's a lot of misplaced jealousy. But that is not really because of Kendrick. It's really more because his record label did him so dirty. Yeah. But like I said, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because it's okay. Because Food and Liquor is a special record. The Neptune's track is probably the first track that I heard before I heard Kick Push. But to me, the song on there is Daydreaming.
Dang, yo, that's it.
Yo,
that's it right there.
That sample is like, I can't even. First of all, Jill Scott, I have the biggest crush on her, even to this day. But just her hook on that, his lyrics on that, the Daydreaming sample that's on it. It's the only Grammy he even has is for best urban alternative performances for that song. He's got 10 nominations. That's his only win. And that to me is the jewel of that album.
Okay, and I'm not mad at that. To me, I almost forgot about Daydreaming, but it's between that and probably the instrumental for me. As far as like the song, it's like when you first hear it, you're hooked as soon as you hear it.
And you don't hear a lot of instrumentals on hip hop records. You used to.
No.
Eric B. and Rakim used to do that, but yeah,
that's true. And just a quick aside about Lupe, I think what kind of hurt his trajectory as far as his career, like before he did, Superstar and all that stuff, is that he was one of the first rappers to openly criticize Barack Obama once he became president, and I think that put a dent in his, his rising,
that's interesting.
Yeah. In words I never said.
Yeah, that's what I think. But I mean, he's continued to release, dope records since then. Like Drug Us Wave, I think is criminally underrated to me. That's kind of like his To Pimp a Butterfly is just not celebrated as much. But then even his most recent one, Samurai, I think is super dope. It's short, but every song hits. Like
what the premise of that is?
What's that?
I think I had heard him do an interview. Like his dad taught him how to do martial arts and stuff. So like the samurai origin comes from the Black community that he grew up in, or maybe you heard something different.
That's a subtext. Lupe says, this is straight from Lupe. Samurai is actually a linear story about Amy Winehouse. If Amy Winehouse was a battle rapper.
Oh my gosh, I got to go back and listen to it with that mindset.
Yeah,
Listen, there's an interview. There's like a phone message that Amy Winehouse left to Salam Remy, where she was saying, I'm, like I would love to be a battle rapper, and Lupe literally took the words she said in the voice message and turned it into the hook of the title track, of the opening title track, and he built the whole story behind Amy Winehouse. If Amy Winehouse was a battle rapper, that's what the entire album is about.
Mm-hmm. That is nuts. Okay, I gotta go back and listen to that.
It's such a bizarre premise, but when you know the context and you listen to it, it's literally a linear story about how she's a battle rapper, how she does her first battle rap, then she gets signed to a record label. It's go back and listen to it again with the backstory.
Dang, yo. You messing with my brain right now, man. That's crazy. I'm gonna go back and listen to it with that context, and I'm gonna hit you up as soon as I get done. I'm gonna hit you up. But but that's my pick. Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor. That's my number 9 pick. EJ, what you got?
All right. So I called an audible here. I initially had my 9 and 10 laid out because I figured I could touch those. But then I was looking through I'm like, you know what? No, let me pick this one instead. So I'm gonna go hip hop again because we may do another podcast on this 2000. I think there's a lot more albums on that's not been picked yet that we could probably end up picking on another podcast. So we'll save those probably for later on.
Okay.
Call audible. I'm gonna go hip hop because my goal here is to be diverse. I can go into my metal bag and all this stuff and go to stuff I actually like, prefer, but I have to go with obviously the stuff that stood out the most. So I'm gonna go with hold on, let me see the year right. Yeah, 2007's Graduation by Kanye West.
Man, that's my favorite Kanye record, and I was so close to picking it, but I was trying to be different and not pick Kanye because Kanye could have taken up like half my list,
Yeah, so Kanye
for sure. So
my favorite Kanye record is actually the one after that. Not Heartbreak.
808s.
No, after that one.
Dark Fantasy.
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
That's my favorite Kanye record. Yeah. But Graduation, of course, has Good Morning. Of course, everybody loves that song. Champion, Stronger. Man. Obviously, Barry Bonds on there. I love. Flashing Lights. That's still a sick song today, man. Dude, 2000's Kanye West was in his fucking bag, dude.
Yes, he was.
I'm sorry. Excuse my language here, but he was in his bag, man. And I know he's obviously for a lot of people. I know for a lot of people it's problematic and stuff, but this dude is still a musical genius. I'm sorry. I don't care what it says. So. It is what it is.
Totally agree. Not mad at it. It's not even. It's crazy. If you rank his albums, it's like number 5 or 6 to me. Is that album? You know what I'm saying? That's how. That's how rich.
I get it though. I get it.
That's how rich. Because to me, Late Registration is number 1. Dark Fantasy is number 2. Then College Dropout, then 808s and Heartbreak, and then Graduation.
So Graduation is his biggest album, right? It's his biggest album, commercial success, you think?
No, his biggest commercial success is still Graduation. It's still the College Dropout. That's still
I'm thinking College Dropout. Yeah, his debut was probably
Graduation second, right? Was Graduation second probably? Of the
Graduation is the
probably
second.
Yeah.
So
Graduation's the second biggest.
So the reason I said that is because like the same way you viewed that, as Graduation is a massive hit and obviously commercial success and all that. The same way I view Thriller. Like I like Thriller, obviously the album. Thriller isn't even my top 5 Michael Jackson albums. Personal, I prefer Off the Wall, Bad, Dangerous, History. It's just what I'm saying. So it's just one of those things where like personal things aside. Now, it's what it is. Like some albums it's not as on a personal level are not as upfront as it is. So to your point when you said that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of artists that people's like, oh, I love this album. Well, not really. I prefer the other one.
So real quick, because you said Thriller is not even in your top 5. So I heard your top 4.
Top four. Sorry, top 4, not 5. 4.
Oh, okay. I was like, if you tell me you're gonna put Invincible or Blood on the Dance Floor ahead of Thriller, you were tripping. But that's okay.
Hey! Why are we forgetting? Why are we forgetting that Michael had 4 whole albums before?
Right, the Motown stuff.
Yeah, Forever Michael
got to be there.
I will take Forever Michael over. I take Forever Michael over Thriller. Sue me. I'm hardcore. See, that's the thing. I'm a hardcore fan. So
we're almost there. Puts it over the top. You know,
that's
true. Every day puts it over the top.
Cinderella, stay a while.
Oh, don't even joke. It's my jam.
Yeah,
that is my jam.
Bro, I see. I always tease all my other MJ friends because, like, yes, love Michael, but like there's certain fans I could talk to about the stuff, his solo stuff before Off the Wall, and some of them may know it, some don't, and it's like that's how not to be a kind of a jerk here, but this is how kind of how I judge how hardcore a fan is. It's what they know.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like J5 era stuff, and then the early solo stuff in Motown. That's why I judge fans. So when I start spitting off like songs and like, what song is that? You really a fan? But I can't.
Yeah,
it's mean though, because I get it. Most people's entry to Michael Jackson is mostly, unless you come from like a fan like mine, or is mostly from Thriller, Off the Wall, Bad, or Dangerous.
The Quincy albums,
I can't judge them. Yeah, but I can't.
Like
anyway.
You're talking to a real one when it's like, yo, like I've heard Different Kind of Lady, and that's one of my favorite songs. You know?
Yes,
so, like,
exactly.
That's
I
how
love that song. That's the
I found out the other day that there's two versions of Different Kind of Lady, because one doesn't have the horns at the beginning of it and one does.
That's right.
I just found that out a couple of days ago.
You didn't know that? You didn't know that?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
So
I heard both versions on
vinyl
YouTube.
pressings. There's certain vinyl pressings.
So the CD that the album I had years ago didn't have the horns. The version now on streaming has the horns.
Yeah.
The all remastered and stuff. So which I don't. Yeah. I guess it's fine, but I
have the vinyl.
It's very similar with like Rock With You with the hand claps.
Like the claps,
the first pressing doesn't have the claps, but everything else after does.
Yes, I had the cassette that didn't have the hand claps. Because of that, I actually prefer no hand claps.
Me too.
I disagree. I'm see. So there's certain Michael remasters I prefer than the other. So
no.
There's certain remasters I don't like. Like I hate hate. That's a strong word. I like Bad, the original version of Bad with the trumpet.
Yes, with the horns.
The horns and trumpets, yeah.
Oh yeah,
much better. It fills out the song. However, with Rock With You, they got it right. I like the claps. It fills it out.
No, I don't like. I mean, I like both, but I just prefer it without the claps. The same thing with Get on the Floor when they put the guitar up more.
Yes.
I liked it better when it was just the bass that was driving the melody.
Right.
It's just, but like I said, we're getting off track.
Yeah, I was about to say poor Kanye.
I'm sorry, poor Kanye. Sorry, Kanye. I know you're trouble. Whatever.
But listen, Graduation's got. I mean, two of Kanye's most famous or beloved songs are on Graduation. Can't Tell Me Nothing and Flashing Lights. Those are probably his most beloved songs. Of course, you have Stronger on there, his first another number one single. You got Good Life, which samples PYT.
Samples MJ.
You know, what's out? Oh, you have Big Brother on there.
Yes, please talk about it.
Big Brother is such a dope ending to that record, and talking about his mentor Jay-Z, talking about feeling like the admiration for him, but also at the same time feeling like he was like sunned by him and resentment by him. And it makes and DJ Toomp makes a great sample of Prince's Be Lonely from the Prince album.
I was waiting for you to say
uses of that. It's just what I'm saying. And Prince don't be like
he don't give that away to just anybody.
So like Tennessee. So Tennessee by Arrested Development. That's a sample of Alphabet Street. And Prince, once it became a hit, Prince is like, give me $500,000.
Yeah.
If you want,
before we get to the 10th round, real quick. Someone asked what our top 3 Kanye albums.
Oh, good question. Good question. Matt, I'll let you go first, man.
Okay, so my top 3 in order. Number 1 is Late Registration. Number 2 is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and number 3 is The College Dropout. Those are my top 3.
So not Yeezy? Wow, cool.
No, Yeezus. Listen, I'll take Yeezus before The Life of Pablo any day of the week, though. To me, Yeezus was the last great Kanye album. Everything else has been basically unlistenable since then, including The Life of Pablo, because The Life of Pablo was such a wasted opportunity. There is a great album inside of The Life of Pablo. You know what I'm saying? If you would flip the opening and closing songs, if Saint Pablo was the first song and Ultralight Beam was the last song, and then you reconfigured some of the sequencing, man, there's a great album in there somewhere. But after Dark Fantasy, Kanye was so committed to like, okay, whatever the first thing I think of in my head, that's gonna go on the album.
Yeah.
He didn't fine tune anything anymore. He didn't care about lyrics like that anymore, and it just shows. And then like the editing the album after the album's been out, which is an ingenious idea if it wasn't such a afterthought. If he actually premeditated the like, I'm gonna put it out and then edit it after it's out.
Yeah.
If he actually did think of that, it's pretty ingenious, but I don't think that he did. I think Yeezus is his last focused album, truly focused album.
Okay.
So,
I'll remind a second. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say, before I share my top 3, are we counting collaboration albums too, or just strictly Kanye?
I don't, but you can if you want to.
Okay, all right. Because like I love Kids See Ghosts. Like that album is so dope to me. Like the joint album that he did with Kid Cudi. But I'll leave that out. I'll leave it. And then of course Watch the Throne, like him and Jay-Z. Like that's its own thing.
Which, by the way, he owned Jay-Z in that record. For record, he owned Jay-Z in that album.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially, there's several songs on there where I think Kanye outdoes Jay. But if I had to rank them as far as like the best, not personal favorites, I would say My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is number 1. College Dropout number 2, and then Late Registration number 3. Even though my personal favorite is Graduation, I would say Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, College Dropout, then Late Registration. I would say those are his top 3 best albums.
So number 1. So we have this number 1. As I mentioned earlier, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy number 1 for me with a bullet. Not even a conversation. Number 2 is Graduation. And I think number 3 is tough. I probably will go College Dropout also, but I think Late Registration definitely has a case for number 3 as well too. Watch the Throne is a compilation album. With the Jay-Z. I mean, that's number top 5. But we lost Matt for a second, which sucks because he's next to pick the 10th pick, final round here. I'll give him a couple seconds. I get a couple seconds to log on here and do his last pick, and if not, we'll skip over him.
No, all good. Hey, I'm so glad you picked Graduation because I was so close to picking it, but I was trying to be different and not pick Kanye. But like that's my favorite. That's my favorite Kanye record from top to bottom.
Let me ask you this: if I didn't pick it, would you pick the last round?
Yeah, if you didn't pick it, then I was gonna pick it. Yeah, for sure. Like that probably would have been my last pick, but my 10th pick is gonna be like for personal reasons. Like I'm just gonna kind of surprise people. So
right. Yeah. All right, I think hopefully Matt's back here now. Matt can hear us. 10th pick, last round. That's if you can hear us here as a dark. There he is.
There you go. We got you.
We got you there, buddy. All right, last one, Matt. Let's bring it home. Your final pick.
Is it me or does it look like his screen's still frozen?
You know what, Matt? If you can't say it, type it in the.
No, we got you. We can see you. We can hear you.
There he is. There he is.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Sorry about that. Wi-Fi was acting a little
Wi-Fi
wonky
issues
there.
I'm familiar with it. Trust me. Many times on this podcast I had that issue. So
10th pick.
Don't be shy. Wi-Fi issues.
Just
okay, hold on. Hold on. All right, Matt. What I would do is, if you could type it into the comment section. Wait, unless you get there, you are. There you are.
There you are. We see you and we hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi issues. I would say type it into the comment section so you can just put it out to the masses so they know what it is.
Got to get it out, man. We got to get it out.
Get it out, man. The minute you get the Wi-Fi working, man, just say the album and the artist, man, and go from there. At least second that just type it.
And the next thing you know, like you got like a whole like essay long answer on why that's his number 10 pick.
Yeah, write it quick. Type it down quick.
Yeah,
so you get to hear it.
That's hilarious. Shout out to Elise, man. She's hilarious.
She is. I almost want to skip him in a second just to see what this will take my first pick into both other drafts, all 3 drafts actually.
Now, forgive me, I can't remember the person's name that left the comment of the top 3 Kanye albums, but salute to you. That's a good question.
Jay Smooth, my man, Jay Smooth.
Yeah, good question.
My boy Jeff.
Jay
Good job, Jeff. My boy Jeff.
Good question.
What up, brother?
Question.
Shoot, you know what? I'm gonna make an executive decision. Go ahead, Chris.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. Go pick 10th now.
All right. So my number 10.
Wait. He's here. He's back.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So
go ahead.
I had to change my phone because the Wi-Fi is whatever. So I'm using my data. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah. We hear you. Perfect.
So my number 10 pick is Jay-Z's The Black Album from 2003.
That's fair. Man, good album.
Yeah. So the Jay-Z announcing that he was going to retire to be his final album. And
he lied. Spoiler alert, he lied.
I mean, but he said he like in Encore, he said, when I come back like Jordan, we're in the 4-5, it ain't to play games with you. So he already prefaced the fact that he was probably going to come back. But my whole thing about that album is it's my favorite Jay-Z album. My favorite Jay-Z studio album is The Black Album. It's got everything. It's got the braggadocious Jay-Z. It's got the self-reflective Jay-Z. It's got the storytelling Jay-Z. It's, you know what I'm saying? You can't really go wrong with it. And then just the songs. The songs are just so memorable. You know, you have December 4th where he's talking about his life, his upbringing. You know, he talks about what happens to him when his mom and dad get divorced and his father's not around in that song. He talks about what happened when his father passed away in Moment of Clarity. He talked about, the drug game in Allure, and one of the best songs he's ever done. Allure and Lucifer are probably the 2 best songs on that album. Shout out to the Neptunes and to Kanye West, respectively, for those records. What More Can I Say? It's another great record. Dirt Off Your Shoulder. Yes, Dirt Off Your Shoulders, which is one of the most unique Timbaland beats that you'll find for any artist, let alone Jay-Z. And then, of course, there's Public Service Announcement. Shout out to Just Blaze for that one. I know every word of the first verse of that song, and it was an 11th hour pick. The album was actually turned in, but then somebody played Justin the sample. So he made the beat in like less than 30 minutes, gave it to Jay, and Jay says, okay, take this song off and then put this song on. And while he was on a press run and letting people hear the album, in between interviews, he would go in the studio, record a verse, go back to interviews, come back, record, and then go back and forth. And he's like, okay, that's done. Put this on the album, take that song off, and then boom. It's nuts, absolutely nuts. But it's my favorite Jay-Z album. It's just great from beginning to end. Even though I love the Neptunes, but Change Clothes was probably the weakest song on the album and a terrible pick for the very first single.
Wait, calm down.
Yeah, it's a terrible pick for the first single. For an album like that, I would have no. It's a typical. It's one of those. It's another
brother.
Neptune song. I think Allure kills that song in terms of just
that.
It destroys it. Change Clothes is just it doesn't even really belong on a record like that. I would have put that on like Blueprint 2 or something before that, or like Dynasty. It probably fit better on Dynasty just because you have songs like I Just Want to Love You, which excuse me, miss. But absolutely, Black Album. That's my 10th and final pick for the 2000's draft for me. My favorite Jay-Z album.
Man, that's a great pick. And the Fade to Black movie made me love Dirt Off Your Shoulder even more, especially like when you see when you listen to the other beats that Timbaland had, like the Potion ended up going to Ludacris eventually, and then just like my face scrunched up the first time I heard Dirt Off Your Shoulder, and then Timbaland was like, "Well, you paid your pick," like he knew what he was doing. Jay-Z's like, man, give me that bounce, man. Give me that bounce.
Yeah, exactly. And then I love like when he's talking to like he's working with Rick Rubin and you see him record the two parts of 99 Problems, but then also the context of like Rick Rubin when he's being interviewed by Anderson Cooper and he's saying, "Oh, I have very little knowledge of like doing stuff. I have very little knowledge of being able to use instruments, and I don't know how to read or write music and all that stuff." It's like, well, how did you make the beat for 99 Problems without knowing how to make beats or program music or any of that stuff, or being able to do it minimally? Like, I'm still like very like, I would love to know the story behind how he made the beat for 99 Problems.
Yeah.
More so than the actual recording of the song itself, because knowing that Rick Rubin has such little ability in terms of just technically, that is fascinating to me. But I love the Fade to Black documentary. I have, shameless plug, I have a TikTok series called Get Physical where I talk about, my music collection, and from time to time I mention my DVDs. So Fade to Black is probably going to be a future episode.
Good.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
Good,
nice. Good stuff, brother. All right.
Man.
Close it out with us, Chris.
Yeah. One last comment about Jay-Z. I love the fact that you picked the Black album. It's interesting that you say it's your favorite. I would surprise a lot of people, and I would say probably Kingdom Come is probably the one I spent the most time with.
Really?
Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, man, he ain't hitting the same, but like you gotta remember, like, Show Me What You Got, 30 something, Lost One, my Trouble.
Hollywood is on there.
Yeah, Hollywood is on there. Anything with Usher, like, oh my God, like the album's dope. I think it gets a lot of hate, and including American Gangster, I think gets overlooked as well. So, dude,
don't even get me started. American Gangster is probably my second favorite Jay-Z album.
Yeah, that album's dope.
Okay.
I mean, just on the strength of like I Know and Hello Brooklyn, like there's so many good songs on that record.
I Know,
Blue Magic,
Fallen, which is one of my favorite Jay-Z songs. Shout out to Bilal who sings the hook on that.
And then Pray with him and Beyonce is dope.
America, the title track, the Short Eyes, Curtis Mayfield sample with that one. He talks about how he misses Biggie and how he still wrestles with his death. My best friend's gone. I've seen bad days. I still find songs I hear him on. It's just so much. And like I said, in Fallen, I love the line, the irony of selling drugs is sort of like you're using the, I guess, other side of what substance abuse is. There's just so much great. The Rock Boys is on that. American Gangster is a great record, but I digress.
Rock Boys in the building tonight.
Yeah, that's it. And that's a sample of a Brooklyn band, Manahan Street Band, which is an offshoot of the Dap Kings.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. So for my 10th album, this is strictly a personal pick. I don't expect a lot of people to pick this artist, but Matthew, I'm sure you've heard of him whenever I say it. I'm going to go with Rebel by Lecrae.
Wow.
Christian artist.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know, Outkast, Jay-Z, Kanye, and even Missy Elliott, like they were getting a lot of the mainstream praise in hip hop during this decade, but Lecrae was moving the needle in a different way. And to me, the most groundbreaking quality about the Rebel album is that it's too church for the hood, but it's too hood for the church. So it's like, you're going to be offended either way. But, another thing I really like about it is that, a lot of folks will say like faith-based rap is like too preachy and one-dimensional. But when you listen to songs like Don't Waste Your Life, Go Hard, and Truth, you can see like this guy's different. And if you kept up with him over his career, he's constantly figuring out a way to engage the hip hop culture without losing sight of the gospel. So that to me not only makes him my favorite rapper, but to me this is his strongest album out of the 2000s. So if nobody's ever heard of Lecrae, or if you're maybe you heard about him but you're kind of interested, this is a good album to go back to and check out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I got some honorable mentions, but I'll let EJ say his last pick, and then maybe we'll kind of go through honorable mentions.
Maybe possibly.
All right.
My last pick here. This artist has been picked already once. I actually thought he would be gone again, honestly, but I'm surprised. But I'll take him here. I'm gonna take 87 Usher.
I started to pick it, but I took Confessions already, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna play nice.
Nice. Like I said, I'm trying to be diverse here. I'm trying to, mix it up a little bit. I mean, I could have gone with some favorites and stuff, but I want to be diverse here. Plus, it's very possible that we do another episode like this for the 2000s. I realized, look, we were concerned when we started this podcast that is 10 too many or is 10 enough? And then I'm realizing there's a lot of albums here that I had not picked. I would have picked, that we can do another episode of this. Maybe not necessarily 10 rounds, but definitely, yeah. But this album is great. I love this album. This is actually his first really massive hit before Confessions. Like this would be what Bad is to Michael. Ace on the One is that to Usher. Confessions is Thriller. That's his big.
Yeah, Confessions is Thriller. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I would say it's more.
It's more bad than anything because like My Way is like off the wall. Confessions is like Thriller. So 8701's more like bad.
Just the order's just different. That's all. Just the order.
I was gonna kind of go and not saying this is like he's in the level of Prince, but in terms of I guess popularity, like My Way is his Dirty Mind, 8701 is 1999, and then Confessions is Purple Rain.
Purple Rain. That is correct.
That's a better. Because
the order. Yeah, because the order makes sense. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You remind me something here. Obviously, You Got It Bad. Without Can You Help Me? I mean, that's a great song.
Yeah, Can You Help Me is a crazy ballad.
Phenomenal album by Usher.
They bodied it.
Dude, shout out to Jam and Lewis. Jam and Lewis.
They did the entire album.
No. Jam and Lewis did Can You Help Me and did How Do I Say.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Jermaine Dupri did a lot of some other stuff. The Neptunes did You Don't Have to Call and I Don't Know.
Mm-hmm.
Jam and Lewis also did You Remind Me. But Jermaine Dupri, he and Brian Michael Cox, they did a lot of records together, like You Got It Bad. Which is probably like my favorite on the set. I think You Got It Bad and How Do I Say are probably my favorites on this album.
Yeah, those are great songs.
Yeah. So,
Twerk It Out is also another good song on there too. Y'all basically named all the big ones. I feel like I'm missing one.
Twerk It Out I wasn't really a fan of. I like. There's some songs that are questionable on 8701. Yeah. Songs like Twerk It Out and U-Turn. U-Turn is one of those songs. Remember, there was a whole other album that was supposed to come out before 8701. Because I don't know if you guys remember, there was a single that actually was released called Poppy Collar.
Yeah, I remember that.
All over. So I was in college when this came out. It was all over the radio. And I actually liked the song, but Jermaine Dupri came in and it was just like, no. And then he scrapped the whole album. Only a handful of songs made it to what became 8701. One of them was You Got It Bad, and the other one was U-Turn. So, because you ever see the video for U-Turn? The video for U-Turn has the aesthetic that he had for the Pop Your Collar music video, where he had those long ass do-rags and stuff like that. I can't believe men actually went outside wearing do-rags like it was like something cool or something to do. I just my brother,
really?
Like no, seriously, my youngest brother Josh, he used to have like a do-rag for every color for all of his outfits. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a red one, a yellow one, a green one, and he would actually like have them out for and color coordinate his do-rags with his outfits. It's just it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I knew so many people that did that.
So the only reason why I'm apprehensive of doing a honor mention is because I actually want to do an episode, and I feel like if we did the honor mention, you might steal some records.
Oh, okay.
Should we do an honor mention? What do you think?
Yes. Let's do honorable mentions real quick. Should we just limit? Let's do.
Well,
3 honorable mentions.
Should we limit it to just one though?
Oh,
should we limit it to just one pick so that way we're not giving anything away for the next one? Oh, 2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm cool with 2.
Okay. Just
you do 2. Okay. We'll do 2. Yeah. All right. I'll start. My 2 honorable mentions. Let's see. One of them is a rock album, and that's.
We're waiting with bated breath.
It's a rock album. And
All right, I'm back. Am I back? Am I back?
You're back. Go ahead.
Yeah. We got you.
So Stadium Arcadium 2007 by Red Hot
my
Chili
God,
Peppers.
on my list.
Yeah. So, dude, that's one. Like, I think that's in my top 3 favorite Chili Pepper albums, actually.
Okay.
Because like I think Californication is probably my favorite Chili Peppers album, which that was actually one of my picks in the '90s draft. Then Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and then Stadium Arcadium, dude. For a double album, especially a double CD album, it's incredibly tight. Like they were just on a roll. Like usually double albums are sprawling and you got a lot of filler. There's not a lot. It's pretty airtight for a double album. I mean, Danny California is just a dope rock pop record with a great music video and a great guitar solo.
Also, my favorite Chili Pepper song of all time. Yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just love that. Desecration Smile, which is one of my favorite Chili Pepper ballads ever. It's right up there with Soul to Squeeze and Breaking the Girl and My Friends. It's a great record. You got Snow, which has got a sick, impossible guitar picking at the beginning of that. You got Charlie, which is super funky. You got Funk the Bump, which has got some trumpet playing from Flea. It's just like, yeah, that's definitely a record that I like a lot. So that's my number 1 honorable mention. And just real quick, what's another honorable mention? All right, another honorable mention is going to be a hip hop record. Actually, no. If we're going to go to the next, if we're going to have a round 2, I'll save this one for round 2. My other honorable mention is going to be "Breakaway" by Kelly Clarkson.
Okay. Whoa, that's a surprise pick. That's a good one, though.
My sister's roommate.
No, listen. Really?
Yeah.
Dude, say what you want. Kelly Clarkson could sing her ass off. That's number 1. Number 2, that Breakaway album, that her second album, that's dude, there's hits all over that thing. It's chock full of hits. You got the title track. You got Since You've Been Gone. You got one of my favorites, which is Behind These Hazel Eyes. You got Because of You. It's just this. There's so many hits on that record that still sound great. You know what I'm saying? If you're in New York and you're on 106.7 Light FM, you're gonna hear all 4 or 5 of those songs at any given point in the day. But they're all pretty remarkable. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my other honorable mention is "Breakaway" by Kelly Clarkson. Not expected for me to say it, but you got to give props where props is due. That's a great record, and she never really was able to recapture that thing because of a certain Clive Davis. But yeah, because I Kelly, if you're out there and you listen to it, I know you just put a record out, but you need to work with someone like a Salam Remy or someone like get Jam and Lewis on the phone or Anderson .Paak. I don't know. Just do some sort of like soul, like infuse some soul or something.
She would kill in that genre.
She would kill it.
You know who I think would be the perfect producer for her?
Who?
Raphael Sadiq.
I can see that.
There you go, my man. Get Raphael Sadiq, because he worked with Joss Stone on her record, Introducing Joss Stone, which was a song on my list, an album on my list. For sure, Raphael would lace Kelly Clarkson.
I think so too.
Lace her.
Yep.
Imagine Kelly Clarkson singing like a Cranes in the Sky type of production.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be so crazy.
All right, give it a 2, Chris.
All right. I feel like this pick, this honorable mention, like I wonder if Matthew probably has this on his list and he's saving it for the next episode. So I'm just gonna steal his thunder if it is. The Renaissance by Q-Tip.
Oh wow.
Yo, that was on my list for this episode.
I started to pick it as well because it was on my list. I was like, man, should I pick it? And I was like, nah, like I'll kind of switch it.
It's one of the most solid rap albums to come out of the decade. It's truly, truly probably Q-Tip's best body of work so far in terms of just combining his ability to produce and use samples along with live instrumentation. He uses a lot of my favorite musicians on this album. You know, Robert Glasper, Mark Carey, Casey Benjamin, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Derek
Nora Jones is on there with Life Gets Better.
Yeah, Nora Jones. Like, it's just, it's just great stuff.
Yeah.
So
the Renaissance by Q-Tip, and then my second one, I gotta show Erica some love, so I'm gonna go with New America Part 1, Fourth World War.
Ooh.
Yeah, because that one has quite a few good songs on it, and I was so tempted to pick it tonight, but I didn't, because I actually think Part 2 is better than Part 1. But
me too.
Me, My People, Soldier, like those are my favorite songs on New America Part 1. But I mean, there's dozens of other albums I could have picked. I'll leave it at those two.
I saw her perform that with the Brooklyn Philharmonic a few years ago.
Ooh, I bet that was dope.
Yeah, I wrote a review for it for Ebony Magazine. It was a killer show. Yeah, and to me the best song there, the best two songs are Honey and The Healer, the opening track.
Yeah, those are good.
So this one I actually added last second. It wasn't an original list, but I actually added it right now. So Madonna's Music is on my list. Is now added to my list as one.
Great album. Yeah. Oh my gosh, like What It Feels Like for a Girl is probably my favorite Madonna song. Yep. Dang,
don't tell me also obviously don't tell me it's put a big hit on the album also.
Yeah.
And listen to music. So yeah, that's one album. The other one, I'm trying to find one I should like here. I actually was leaning towards taking no, not that one. No. Do that one. No. I was gonna go with Incubus, probably an Incubus album. Probably take Morning View.
Yeah.
Incubus is actually my favorite. It's actually my wife's favorite band, actually. So it's personal too, also with us. So
that's got the big hit on it, right? Wherever tomorrow brings out.
No.
Drive.
No. That's one before that. That was on Make Yourself.
Oh, okay.
So Drive was on the previous record. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, those are two albums I probably would have taken in this stuff. But we will probably do another 2000's draft at some point. Maybe another 8. My question before we get out of here: could we actually? We went 20 rounds with the 90s draft, and I still feel like that decade we can probably still do another episode.
Yeah, you could have did another. Yeah,
but
that was almost 3 hours for that one.
Yeah, not necessarily 20 rounds this time. Maybe do 8 or 10. But I feel like that episode we can do another episode of the 90s. Definitely 80s too. Also,
we definitely could do another 80s. But,
so we'll plan that in the future to do that. Especially this one too. Also, we'll do it. 2010s might be a little bit of a challenge. I already started working on a list of 2010s, and that's a little bit of a challenge.
Definitely, we're scrape the barrel to get 10 between the three of us. Because the thing is that it's the streaming era. So there's so everything that's a great album is like a niche record. The thing about we've done 3 drafts now, and these are like things that are out in the ether and in the open that are part of this general public zeitgeist. But exactly, like when you picked the colored section or something like that. That was or like in the 90s draft when you did Introducing with DJ Shadow. Those were sort of like niche records that like if you know. Every record of the 2010s on is a if you know record, unless it's like a mainstream record. And even mainstream is a niche at this point. There's so many people who have never heard Christina Carpenter record or Billie Eilish record, you know what I'm saying? So that's why anything beyond the 2000s is in the 2010s to 2020s is going to be difficult, just because so many people are like, I've never heard of this one, I've never heard of that one. You know what I'm saying?
And if you're picking it out, we're picking it out for a song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
so,
you know that episode might be necessary though, because we could put some people on to some records that they may not even check out. Like, you know, for instance, like when I think of the 2010s, like that was around the time that I got introduced to St. Vincent. Like to me, I think she's a dope artist. Like she kind of comes from that Prince, you know, vein in a way. So, and then you know, like everyone, a lot of people know like To Pimp a Butterfly, you know, like records like that. But yeah, I think there could be some 2010 stuff that we could, you know.
Well, Kendrick's album is never going to be a highlight of the 2010s. Probably all three of them,
no doubt.
To be honest with you. So, fellas, great job as always. I know Chris, you're a bit late here. I promise. I apologize. Obviously, we try to get as fast as we can.
Okay. It's okay.
How it is.
Yeah.
You guys want to plug anything before we get out of here?
Yeah. So I'll start. For everybody, my Substack is Define Media. And you can go to headphoneaddict.substack.com. I write about Black music. I write about my life and how it relates to Black music and Black culture, and dissecting Black music. My latest article is called "Look at You, Fooling You," which is how Cy Stone's life Cy Stone goes from a pop star to a parable. It's basically a review of the new Questlove documentary, Sly Lives, aka The Burden of Black Genius. That just came out yesterday. So please go to my Substack and subscribe, see all my articles. I got that Lupe Fiasco article coming out next month. I got articles coming out on Kendrick Lamar. I got articles coming out about analyzing how the FX show Atlanta used music. It's going to be a really good one for me. And follow me at TikTok at Headphone Addict 1, the number 1, to see my video series, Get Physical, where I talk about my music collection. I also have Badge Talk, where I talk about my badges and laminates that I saved and all my stories as a music journalist. Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, that's my plug. So follow me at TikTok at Headphone Addict 1. Follow me at Instagram at Headphone Addict, at Twitter at Headphone Addict, at Threads at Headphone Addict, and follow me on my Substack, Define Media. That's DEFYNE Media. Headphoneaddict.substack.com.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think I finally cracked the code on what I want to do for the History 30 tribute that I've been working on for 11 years, it feels like, but but I think I finally cracked it. So I'm aiming to have that done in either April or May to kind of get it ahead of the June anniversary date. If anybody wants to look me up on Twitter or Instagram, my Twitter handle is at CHRISLACY0215. And then Instagram is at CHRISLACY1990.
Thank you guys as always. Of course, on each person 7 on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on every social media platform, of course, youtube.com/Earnest Christian. All the commenters on here today on the stream, thanks for being with us and commenting with us and sharing this with us. And we'll be obviously do another one of these very soon. We'll talk to you guys later. God bless y'all, and until the next one.